The champions of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the Tigers of Grambling State University. And college football's all-time winningest head coach, Eddie Robinson. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Myers, alongside Todd Blackledge. Welcome to Heritage Bowl number 4. Well, when you talk about Eddie Robinson, when he took over as Grambling's head coach back in 1941, FDR in office at the Oval Office of the White House, that is. It's been an amazing run over the last 53 years for Eddie Robinson, and he told us the reason behind his success. First and foremost, he has always been a teacher.
Yeah, it's amazing, Joel. 75 years old, 397 victories later. It's amazing to watch him work on the practice field. Very hands-on, out there coaching the backup tight end, the left tackle on technique. Really a pleasure to spend a couple days with him.
Two very talented and gifted athletes at the quarterback position for the two schools. We'll start with Grambling's Kendrick Nord.
Well, Kendrick Nord is the prototype pro quarterback, 6'4", 210 pounds, the big league live arm. Has a great touch on the deep ball. Now, he had great numbers this year, but he got roughed up a little bit in the last game against Southern. Interesting to see how he is mentally in this game. On the other side of the ball, Marvin Marshall, he's listed at 5'10". I think that's a stretch, but he has outstanding quickness and speed and is very productive as a quarterback, as a thrower or as a runner. 1,000 yards in each of those categories. And you know what, Joel, the scary thing, he should be even more dynamic on this AstroTurf today.
And if Marvin Marshall has his way, it's going to be a wide open affair. And here come the champions now from the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. The Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Perfect in-conference play this year. We're just about ready for Heritage Bowl number 4. Be right back with Clint Grambling and South Carolina State.
And its divisions. In the car business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way. By 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Welcome back once again to the magnificent Georgia Dome. And before we kick it off between two teams with identical records of 9-2, let's join the third member of our team down to the sideline, Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry.
Thank you very much, Joel, and happy holidays, everyone. You know, this is the 4th annual Heritage Bowl, which annually pits teams representing the Southwestern and Mid-Eastern Athletic Conferences. And in 3 years, how this game has grown. In 1991, well over 7,000 were on hand at Joe Robbie Stadium to watch Alabama State beat North Carolina A&T. But here in the Dome a year ago, a record crowd over 36,000 watched Southern shut out South Carolina State. But to put it all in perspective, legendary Grambling coach Eddie Robinson spoke to a luncheon early this week with both football teams in attendance. He said, guys, we have to seize the moment. You owe it to yourself and to your schools to play the best game of your life. The entire nation is watching. It is up to us to put on a show. Joel?
All right, Jerry. Patrolling the sideline, as I mentioned, since 1941. Only 3 wins away from the unthinkable 400-win plateau. Eddie Robinson, the Tigers of Grambling State University. And on the opposite sideline, Willie Jeffries back at his alma mater now, finishing up his 12th season and really churned around the program. And floundered before he came back to Orangeburg, South Carolina. And a real nice run from Willie Jeffries in particular over the last 5 years. So we are ready to go. As Matt Young has teed up, the senior from Fort Mill, South Carolina. For the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, as Grambling won the toss and sends back deep. Keith James, along with Larry Dykes. James, their main man. As the low-line drive is going to make its way to the end zone. A good kickoff to start things off for Matt Young. So the Tigers are ready to go offensively, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And Norman Bradford is their fullback. And this is a surprising wing tee look. They feature the fullback, and he's also the leading rusher for the Tigers of Grambling. Curtis Caesar, their senior flanker, came to Grambling as a walk-on, leads as their senior wide receiver, as their leading receiver this year as well. And Christopher Johnson on the offensive line, first team all-conference, Southwestern Athletic Conference, and a big one at 6'5", 300 pounds. Kendrick Nord, the junior from Mobile, thrown for over 2,800 yards this year, and looking to throw on first down. And gets back near the original line of scrimmage. We now look at the defense led by Anthony Cook for South Carolina State. Leads the team in tackles and sacks at Division I AA All-America. The linebacker position, Lamont Nelson, second on the squad in tackles, despite starting only 7 games. In fact, he also missed a couple of games. A very active linebacker. And in the secondary, another member of the first team All-Southwestern Athletic Conference All-Stars, Macy Stevens. And he's very versatile. If there's an injury in the secondary, he's the one they move around in different positions. Second and 11. And nothing doing. On the run for Norman Bradford, the one they feature. Kendrick Nord already looking at a third and long time.
Well, Kendrick Nord had a few problems his last time out because both Florida A&M and Southern were able to put pressure on him. They felt that they could get to him. He got sacked 5 times in the game against Southern. I mentioned it would be important to see what his mental state was. I think it's important he gets off to a good start early in this ballgame. He's got great skills. He had a super year, but right now he may be battling a little bit of a confidence problem early in the ballgame.
So now third and 11 for the Tigers. And over to throwing Caesar, it's a 3-and-out start for an offense that really did struggle, as Todd had mentioned, over the last couple of games. After winning the first 9, Eddie Robinson told us this group has been so disappointed they feel like they let him down because they wanted this to be the game that they were going to take his 400th career victory.
Eddie Robinson just thrilled that his team has a chance to come out and play one more game and really have a chance to end this season on a positive note. He was very disappointed with the way his team played fundamentally in the last 2 ball games.
Jensen gets it away. Freddie Solomon. Stay away from him. It rolls inside the 35 and out of bounds at the 31. So South Carolina State in good shape field position-wise. Let's take a look at their offense now at the 50-yard punt. The leading rusher in the backfield, Michael Hicks. He averages 127 yards a game. The leading receiver, Freddie Solomon, was just on that punt return. Most of the TD catches, in fact, this year for South Carolina State as well. 11 of their 15 touchdown receptions. And their center, he's a true freshman, only 18. Doesn't look like a true freshman, doesn't play like it. 6'3", 325 pounds, Jarrell Moore. So here we go with the exciting Marvin Bulldogs. And he's tripped up. Might look like he's pulling guard. Tyrone Davis looked like he tripped him up. Defensively, Albert Reese is on the end. First team All-Conference in each of the last 2 years for the Tigers of Grambling. The linebacker position, another one first team All-Conference. Kiefer Phillips. He leads the team in tackles. And in the secondary, Roderick Mullen, the coaches tell us, got a broken leg last year, but still, coming back this year, the fastest player on the defensive unit. So now second and about 13, and Marshall gets it barely away. Hicks for the big gainer and a first down. Michael Hicks with a first down. But was Fontenot ever at the same time burying the quarterback?
Yeah, great penetration by Eric Fontenot, the senior out of New Orleans. Take a look right in the middle of your screen. Number 90 almost gets to Marshall before he makes the handoff, but nice poise by the quarterback getting the ball to Hicks. And Hicks, Marshall, and the wide receiver, Freddie Solomon. That's the big 3 for this Bulldog offensive team. They have got to make big plays because you can see just as they line up, they don't have the same type of size in their athletes that Grambling does.
It's in short side sweep. It's a nice block. And he's got it down to the Grambling 45. 9 on first down for Michael Hicks. Michael Hicks, as the coaches told us, good speed, a real long stride once he gets outside.
Yeah, he really has great acceleration once he gets into the hole. He's got pretty good strength, and he just has that extra gear that he can go to when he sees an opening. When he sees a crease, he gets into it, and then he gets into the long stride, the acceleration. He's had a phenomenal year this year for the Bulldogs.
2 carries now, 27 yards for Michael Hicks. Second and short, second and 1 now for the Bulldogs. Hicks loses it, and Marvin Marshall very alertly gets back to it. Almost picked up by Kai Burrell back there.
Again, the penetration by the front 4 of Grambling is creating some disruption in the backfield early in this ball game. Marvin Marshall might need to change his snap count here early. You can see it's Fontenot again, slips right inside the block of Shorn First, the right tackle. South Carolina State very lucky they came up with a football. You know, for this season, they fumbled the ball 33 times, but they've only lost it 13. So the ball does drop on the ground with this football team, but they've been pretty fortunate in covering it up.
And now third and 8, Marvin Marshall uses his first of 3 first half timeouts, and we will do the same with 12:16 left in the first quarter. The 4th annual Heritage Bowl. We'll be right back to the Georgia Dome.
presented by Domino's Pizza. Call now and order new buffalo wings, and we'll deliver them with your pizza. It's gotta be Domino's. And by the Chrysler Corporation and its divisions. In the car business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way.
It is Heritage Bowl number 4. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. And what a magnificent facility we're in this afternoon. The Georgia Dome. It is 3rd and 8 now. First third down try of the game. The Bulldogs from South Carolina State. Let's see if they try to roll and get their outstanding quarterback Marvin Marshall outside. They run Caesar, the wide receiver in motion. They do get him outside. Nothing available though. And he's put down the weak side linebacker J.B. Brown. A little guy with a lot of pop.
Oh, J.B. Brown is an exciting player. He's only 5'8". And the coaches really didn't even think that he could play linebacker, but watch him read the play and just slip inside. I mean, he read it all the way. It's almost as if he was there spying on the quarterback, Marvin Marshall, and as soon as he saw a lane that he could explode through, he came running to the inside and made the play. That's good pursuit by the outside linebacker, Brown.
James waiting for fun from Timothy Holmes. And Holmes really gets into it, turns it over inside the 10 from the 9. James looking for a block. It never develops, but he does get it back near the 15. So Grambling has it second time offensively, but in a deep hole after that 46-yard punt. No score so far with 11.5 minutes left in the first quarter. J.B. Brown, the outstanding linebacker, coming up with a big play just before we broke away from the Tigers of Grambling. So they get the ball back now. Their own 15-yard line. This is the 14th meeting between South Carolina State and Grambling. The Tigers of Grambling taking 10 of the previous 13. Last matchup winning in 1990. The Tigers won it 39-15. Home field of the Bulldogs in Orangeburg, South Carolina. So 3-0 the first possession. And a flanker gets it on the end around. And it's Tyrone Jones taking it across the 20 to the 21. For a gain of a little bit more than 6, almost 7.
That was an ideal play out of this wing T offense. You don't see it very much. Delaware still runs it. Grambling runs it in their running plays. But it's built on, the play is built on misdirection. Fake to the fullback. You have the leading blocker out there, Womack, number 74. He's the best offensive lineman and the key offensive lineman in this offense. And then they give it to the wingback, Tyrone Jones. The offense is based on misdirection. The fullback is a feature back, but the wingback is also the key player.
2nd and 3. Kendrick Nord. He can run for it. And he will. He picks the first down across the 25. So Grambling with their first down of the contest, and Nord showing good mobility.
Yeah, good decision that time by Kendrick Nord. You know, we talked about him being a pocket passer at 6'4", 210 pounds, but the coaches tell us he's actually the second fastest guy on the team behind Tyrone Jones. So he's got the ability to get on the outside and make a play, but he also an excellent pocket passer, and that was just a good decision. You take a look at Melvin Lee, the offensive coordinator, 37 years as an assistant for Eddie Robinson. That's tremendous loyalty by an assistant coach.
They move the chains the first time today for the Tigers. 10:43 left the first 15 minutes of play. There's that counteraction you were talking about. They pick it. Nord takes it, and Nord into the secondary has another first down. As he faked it to his fullback going the opposite way toward the far side boundary and kept it coming back near side.
You know, you have to have a good fullback to run this offense, and you have to have some linemen that can pull, but you also have to have a quarterback that can handle the football, that can make the fakes. Look at that big fake, just one-handed fake, really fooled the defense, sold the sweep play, and then he shows the speed when he gets to the outside. When this offense is working and all the parts are clicking, it's very, very difficult to defend because you just don't know where the football is if you have a quarterback like Nord who can make it disappear.
Earlier in the season, back in September, they were really running well offensively. Grambling scored 87 points in that game. The most scored in the Division 1A or 1AA game this year. That came against Morgan State. They can only hope for half those 87 today. Should be enough for Eddie Robinson. We'll be right back to the Georgia Dome. Grambling moving the ball for the first time today, just about 5 minutes in. They've got it first and 10 of their own 44 when they put it back into play. Joel Myers along the top Blackledge of the wing team starting to be effective. That misdirection time.
Yeah, we talked about the basis of it, misdirection. Now, Jermaine Derricott is on the end of the line. He's responsible for contain, but watch as the fake goes and the quarterback rolls out. Derricott never can find the football. Watch him look in and try to find the football. He goes for the fake. He still, at this point, doesn't even know that Kendrick Nord has the ball. Nord gets out to the perimeter and makes a big play.
It is the wingback, and he is dropped for a huge loss. Tyrone Jones, great penetration. They got it from Kevin Pope, the cornerback, and that time, Jermaine Derricott did stay at home a little bit better.
You just have to find the football. I mean, you have to play discipline. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. There's Pope, the cornerback. This time he sees the ball. He has contained on this play and is able to just force the ball back to the inside where he has help. That's good work by the corner, Kevin Pope.
He's a junior from right here in Atlanta.
Now, this defense of South Carolina State, they're not very big. They've got good speed and they can run to the ball, but they've got to take some chances. They've got to move around and try to attack the line of scrimmage because they can't just stand in there and slug it out with Grambling.
Kendrick Nord, you can see, really upset that he had to use another timeout. And now only one timeout remains in the first half of the Tigers of Grambling State University. Eddie Robinson was talking about Kendrick Nord and the development of that Bayou Classic against Southern, talking about trying to keep the right side off of that young man because he was so disappointed. We head down to the sideline now to join Dr. Jerry Hawks. Jerry.
Thanks, Joel. What we were talking about a moment ago was that Benjamin Blacknall, the South Carolina State defensive coordinator, is going to take some gambles in the early part of this game to try to rattle Kendrick Nord. He knows that what happened against Southern in their last regular season game of the year is they got to Nord early. He ended up throwing 4 interceptions. So what they're going to do, they're going to vacate certain areas of the field, which means they're going to vacate possibly the middle of the field. They're going to leave their corners playing in a zone coverage, and they're going to bring the farm to try to get to Kendrick Nord. If they can shake his confidence early, maybe Nord will do what he did against Southern and throw the big INT here early in the game. Back upstairs.
All right, Jerry, as you told us yesterday, they're not a real big group. They run the ball well, and today it's going to be quickness going up against size, and they have to take advantage of their quickness.
And in order to take those kind of chances in the passing game, they have to do a job on the run, and they got a good play on first down there. They get the play in the backfield and the loss of yardage. Now they put Grambling into more of a throwing situation, and that's, Blacknall doesn't want to get into a situation where they can't stop the run on first down.
Second and 17 situation now for Nord. His wingback breaks the initial tackle as Tyrone Jones does a good job to get it back close to the original line of scrimmage. It'll still be 3rd and long, though. Mitz, one of the first ones over there to put him down.
Glenn Mitz is one of 17 players for South Carolina State that are from the state of Georgia. And talking to Willie Jeffries, he said, we would have liked to maybe have been in the Division I AA playoffs, but this is a win-win situation. Coming to the Heritage Bowl, we get to play on national TV, we get to play in the state of Georgia where we recruited a lot of good talent. So really is a very positive thing for him and his coaching staff being in this ball game.
3rd and 11 now. Quick count by Nord. And he's looking for his wide out. Curtis Caesar, senior from Beaumont, overthrown though by a good margin. So that loss on first down, the real key, the big play defensively for Kevin Pope.
Yeah, Porsche had to make a perfect throw on 3rd down and 12. Caesar, a pretty good break to the outside. He's got a little separation on Pope, but again, that distance and that kind of throw, it has to be a perfect throw, a little bit over the head of Caesar.
Simpson punting away once again. Freddie Solomon, the main one back there at the 20. And Simpson gets into it. It'll make its way to the end zone, so a touchback. After the 57-yard punt, a net of 37. And now, South Carolina State getting it back for the second time in contest in their own 20. But coming up later on this evening, more college football on ESPN. Only the 3rd bowl game ever for Colorado State. The 26th consecutive bowl year for the Wolverines of Michigan. The WAC against the Big Ten. That is the Holiday Bowl on ESPN. It all starts at 9 o'clock Eastern. Number 12, Colorado State, taking on the 20th ranked Wolverines of Michigan. And now with no score and 8:19 left in the first quarter. It is 1st and 10. Melvin Lee, the offensive coordinator, talking it up with his quarterback on the sideline. Michael Hicks rattled. Got a couple. Michael Hicks averaging 127 yards a game, and the little linebacker J.B. Brown, who you had mentioned at 5'8", 195. Solid package, really runs well, but they say he's one of the bigger hitters too for his size.
It really reminds me of Rohan Marley, who plays for the University of Miami, a little bit undersized at that linebacker position, but flies around and loves to make hits, and you got to find a place for a guy like that on your field.
2nd and 8. They get Marvin Marshall outside. That's the ultimate for them. He loves to run it. Will he pick up the first down? I believe he did. Yes, just across the 30. Marvin Marshall told us he loved to watch Darian Hagan, Jamel Holloway of Oklahoma. He's like a scat back who can throw the ball really well.
If you want to get your quarterback on the perimeter, you got to get a block on the outside. Watch Hicks get the block. As Marshall turns the corner, watch Hicks get the good block on J.B. Brown. That enables Marshall to turn the corner and pick up the first down. If you don't get the blocks on the perimeter, you can't turn the corner. Perfect body block that time by Michael Hicks.
Marvin Marshall monopolizing out the line on 1st and 10. And a quick give to the fullback. A huge roll across the 45 is Aaron Manigault. He's had shoulder problems this year, but fortunately, with about a month off, he's all the way back at 100% now.
Well, Grambling has shown that they can get some quick penetration on the inside with their tackles. This is a play that takes advantage of that. You almost invite them to come up the field, and then you run the quick hitter with your fullback. Watch the penetration by the tackles. You let them come up the field, then you give it quickly to your fullback. Attack a quick, aggressive defense right at the heart of that defense. Nice job giving it to the fullback.
He's only a sophomore. He got 19 on his first carry of his Heritage Bowl number 4. Marvin Marshall almost looked like he wanted to run the option. Nice block from his fullback. And another nice block from Freddie Solomon as he takes it all the way down to the 44. What help Marvin Marshall got.
Whenever you have a player like this who can make plays on the perimeter, you get used to blocking downfield because you know at any time with the 4.3 speed, he can take it all the way. He gets a block by Hicks. Now watch him stop and change directions. He gets a block by the tailback, the fullback, and right here at the end of the play, his wide receiver, Solomon, helping out his quarterback. Not only can he catch, pretty physical wide receiver as well.
2nd and 3 now. Ball to Grambling 44. Hicks lunging close to the first down. It'll depend upon the spot. Boy, it's fun, though, still getting that great penetration, though.
Yeah, and Marvin Marshall, I think, needs to maybe adjust his snap count a little bit because they're trying to pick up a little bit on the snap count. They're getting a jump on the ball. Take a look at him right here now. There he is, Fontenot. Watch the penetration as he comes across the line. See him anticipate the snap count. He's guessing on the snap count, and so far in this ballgame, he's guessing right. That time they still picked up some decent yardage, but they've got to alter that snap count to keep him honest.
6'4", 300-pounder. Eric Fontenot. First team all-conference. 2nd consecutive season. And that was a huge block by the left guard, Al Shield. Otherwise, he doesn't get the handoff. Grips in the backfield now. 3rd and inches. It's Hicks. Nice adjustment to the line. He picks up the first down to the 38. Kept his head up as he's tripped up by J.B. Brown. Michael Hicks broke all of Herschel Walker's high school rushing records in Georgia.
He was recruited pretty heavily by the University of Georgia, too, but he was a Proposition 48 guy. They wanted him to go to a junior college. He didn't want to do that. He ended up going to South Carolina State, has enjoyed being there, and I'll tell you what, Willie Jeffries has sure enjoyed having him running the football for him.
Already, as you can see, the career leader in yardage and rushing touchdowns. Hicks again, throttled at the line, maybe a half a yard at the most. Kiefer Phillips, one of the first ones in there.
Take a look at J.B. Brown. Now, we mentioned he's only 5'8", about 180 pounds, and that doesn't match up very well against an all-MEAC offensive lineman like Al Shield. That's 260 pounds working on a much smaller man. He gets by with his quickness and his anticipation of plays, but when he gets into the body of a big lineman, he just kind of gets swallowed up.
2nd and still close to 10. For the screen, almost the way it looked at the outset. Marvin Marshall tried to create on his own, and he gets a nice block. Downfield, another good block from Hicks, and he gets the first down. Michael Hicks locked up his man well downfield. It's a first down to the 25.
You said it exactly right. He locked up his man. They will take this play when they go back into spring ball, and they will use it as a teaching guide. Watch number 4 now. He's going to lead the screen, but as Marshall starts scrambling around, he's going to come back into your screen. Now, at this point, Michael Hicks is already on his block, and he sustains the block. He stays on the block, stays on the block, takes his man out of the play, that's Mark Mosby, and enables his quarterback to cut inside for the first down. It's not just, critical to get on the block. He must sustain it for the length of the play.
The fullback just gained a heading. Aaron Manigault took a shot. Talked about Keith Phillips earlier, the senior from Baton Rouge. Got his money's worth on that one.
He was the defensive player of the year in the Southwest Athletic Conference. He's a pro prospect. I mean, he is a big load in there on the inside. 6 foot, 245 pounds. A great run stuffer from the middle linebacker position.
So now second and just about 11 for Marvin Marshall. He does something a little bit different with that snap count. He likes to roll out. He's in trouble. And overthrows his wide receiver, Early Harris.
One of the best things I think that Marvin Marshall has done this year for South Carolina State, he makes the plays with his speed and as a runner, as a thrower, but he also has made great decisions through the year. 17 touchdown passes, only 11 interceptions. He really does not throw bad balls. He throws the ball away when he has to. He's a very coachable young man, and as much as being a good quarterback as it is to have the physical talents to make plays, making decisions is just as important. And Marvin Marshall has made a bunch of good ones this year for the Bulldogs.
His coach has told us the one thing that they really worked on, and it's paid off in the senior season, patience in the pocket. Michael hits under the leg. And on 3rd and 11, it's down to the 21. Setting things up for a field goal try. That's been a sore spot this year for Matt Young and South Carolina State. They may not go after the field goal. It looks like
Matt Young,
there's a penalty flag on the play.
He's had a tough year. He's 2 of 9 for field goal attempts. His long of the year, a 33-yarder, and he was actually an all-conference kicker last year, but has struggled some this year, and this is kind of the in-between position. I figure they're better off keeping the ball in the hands of Marvin Marshall in this situation.
They picked up that flag in the secondary, so no foul, and now Marvin Marshall calling a timeout. So he tried to spread the defense with 4 wide receivers for the first time today. We will take a timeout as well with 2:47 left in the first quarter. See what South Carolina State does on 4th down when we come back. At the Georgia Dome, Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. A 4th down situation coming up with 2:47 left in the opening 15 minutes of play. And there's the offensive coordinator for the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, Anthony Jones. And decision to be made because they are not going for the field goal try. They've had problems in that area, changing holders and snappers as well. Now they go with 3 wideouts as opposed to 4, which we saw before the timeout.
Anthony Jones has really done a nice job since joining Willie Jeffrey's staff back in '92. He actually came as a defensive assistant in '92. Last year he was changed to coach the wide receivers and the tight ends, and then this year he became the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. And really for the year, South Carolina State has done an outstanding job offensively, averaging 440 yards a game. So a nice move, moving Anthony Jones to the offensive coordinator position.
Most effective drive for either side so far, and it belongs to the Bulldogs, starting back at their own 20, consuming a little bit more than 5.5 minutes.
I think South Carolina State right now has to try to get Freddie Solomon the football. They've got to try to get him involved in the game. They got to wet his whistle a little bit in this ball game. He's been too valuable of a contributor for this team. He's caught 13 touchdown passes, 40 receptions on the year. He's made a couple nice blocks, but he hasn't touched the football yet. And I think for his sake and for the team's sake, they've got to get him involved in the offense.
So far offensively, 15 runs and only 1 pass completion for South Carolina State. They run Early Harris in motion on 4th and just about 7. Marvin Marshall has it tipped at the line, and is it? No. Almost intercepted by Shelley Barnett, the free safety. But Grambling State holds and takes over on downs.
And that's the one problem that Marvin Marshall has at being 5'8", 5'9". Sometimes he just can't get the ball up over those big linemen. You see, he had Solomon open, but he couldn't get him the football. Solomon works a nice inside route, and he's open for the first down, but the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage by Albert Reese, and a nice play by the Grambling defensive end.
So now Grambling getting the ball back. They've got it 1st and 10 outside of their own 21. They feature that fullback, and there he goes, Norman Bradford. Not much available, though, only the 23 for a couple. no score with 2:25 and counting left in the first 15 minutes of play. We expected a wild, wide open affair, but Grambling did have their problems over the last couple of games of the year. They were shut out by Florida A&M. Then they were pounded 34-7 by Southern in the Bayou Classic. This is a 2nd and 10 call. Now make it 2nd and 9, just outside the 22. Bradford with pressure early. Again, it has been sailing on him early, and he's way over the head of Curtis Caesar. As we go downstairs to Jerry Punch. Jerry?
There are a lot of famous alumni for both these schools, but I'm standing with one of them that everyone's going to remember. South Carolina State graduate Harry Carson, a 9-time All-Pro, New York Giants Super Bowl. And Harry, last year, one of your records at South Carolina State went down the tubes with a guy by the name of Anthony Cook, the ultimate.
It was really a freak of nature that he broke that record. It was a sack record.
You had 17, he had 21, but he is quite a specimen.
Yeah, he really is a super athlete. I think he had a much better season last season than he's having this season. He's having somewhat of a slow season this year. Not as many sacks, not as effective. And I think maybe all of the hype about him being a high draft pick might be going to his head a little bit.
Well, they're getting a lot of pressure here on, you saw on Kendrick Nord a moment ago to force the incompletion. But of what you've seen of Anthony Cook, who does he remind you of some of the guys maybe you've played with in the NFL?
Oh, I don't know. He's kind of like Leroy Selman a little bit. Not particularly big, but he's very agile, very flexible, and he has a knack of getting to the quarterback, and that's the way that Selman was.
Well, listen, thanks for joining us, and best of luck as a sideline reporter. We've got a problem with the punt. Back upstairs.
They got a piece of Simpson's punt, and South Carolina State operating in great field position once again. They've got it near the 30-yard line, and it was Kenny Bynum.
Well, the philosophy that Ben Blocknall has right now with his defense attacking the line of scrimmage, carrying over to the special teams. They sell the farm, they come after the punt, and they get a piece of it in a big play on the special teams for South Carolina State. The snap was a little bit slow. The punter had to adjust to it. And just an aggressive play by the punt block team of South Carolina State.
And Bynum and Johnny Taylor right there, both getting a piece of that one. Michael Hicks on first down. No gain. In fact, he lost a half yard.
Eric Fontenot is just causing all kind of problems on the inside right now for Grambling. I mean, he is guessing on the snap count almost every play. He's lining up right over the center. Maybe he's getting tipped off by a move of the center. I'm not sure, but he's really getting off the ball quickly, and he's in the backfield every play. He's got a very quick first step for a 290-pound guy, and he's making a lot of plays right along the line of scrimmage.
As a former quarterback, Todd, don't you have to get him offside at least once to put that in the back of his mind as well?
Yeah, you got to get him on his heels a little bit. Try to go with a couple long counts and draw him off.
Marshall for Freddie Solomon. Oh, so close.
Now, that's a pass that should have been caught. It was a good throw by Marshall. He had his man, but as much as anything, that is a result of the fact that it's taken almost the entire first quarter for Freddie Solomon to get his hands on the football. He just wasn't ready to make the catch. Nice job by Marshall getting to the outside, getting himself a throwing lane, and Solomon just isn't able to concentrate enough as the ball comes over the hand of Shelley Barnett, the free safety, and make the catch.
So now 3rd and 11 for Marvin Marshall. We'll see if he rolls right, tries to get outside of the perimeter once again, the wide side of the field. There, he got him to jump finally. That's what we were talking about, and you said he had to change his snap count, his cadence a little bit.
Got to try any trick you can to slow them down. You don't want them guessing right on a consistent basis because they already have an advantage because they're running straight ahead.
So now instead of 3rd and 11, it'll be 3rd and 6 for Willie Jeffries, Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Georgia Dome Jinx, they've played in this building 4 times already. They're 0-4. Final 62 seconds of the opening quarter. Still no score and a big 3rd down for South Carolina State. Marvin Marshall trying to buy some time. Would have been out of bounds had it been grabbed as Keith Phillips was on top of the quarterback.
Yeah, we saw J.B. Brown measure the quarterback and kind of mirror him and run with him. This time the middle linebacker, Kiefer Phillips. All right, here he comes. He's on the outside. Right there is 52, Kiefer Phillips. Take a look as he watches the quarterback, just measures him up, just kind of moves with him, doesn't want to let him get outside. And then when he sees him hesitate, that's when he attacks and goes for the tackle. Nice job. Good discipline by the middle linebacker, Kiefer Phillips.
Now an interesting move, Matt Young, they didn't go with earlier on a shorter field goal try, and now this is going to be a little bit longer. This is going to be a 43-yard attempt. He's only 2 of 9 on the year with a long of a 33 yards, and it skips back from the snapper, and that'll do it. Well, that's the problems they've been having, as Anthony Jones, the offensive coordinator, told us. Snappers, holders, they've rotated a few trying to get the right combination.
Yeah, they had all kind of problems there. There were shoes rolling on the ground, gloves laying on the ground. They had all kind of problems trying to get that field goal attempt off. Watch, the ball's just going to roll back. A very poor snap, not able to handle it, and give him credit. He does the right thing. Just doesn't try to make a huge mistake by trying to throw the football there. Just take the loss and hope that your defense can come on the field.
And as a result now, Grambling gets their best field position to start a drive so far this afternoon on their 4th possession. It is Bradford, the fullback. Nice moves. He's close to a first down. Taking a little more than 9. Just short of the first down. That's Norman Bradford, the junior from Jonesboro, Louisiana. He's also the 2nd leading receiver as well. A very talented young man.
Norman Bradford's an interesting story. He should know all about this offense. 2 years ago, he started as the wingback. Last year, he was the starting tailback. This year, he moves into the fullback position. So he has played all the positions. As you look at his numbers over the last 3 years, a very productive back, particularly this year as the fullback.
Nord leaves the ball on the ground. Turnovers, that was the problem for them against Southern. Did they give the ball away? They've already had a punt blocked. A second and less than a yard. And now it's going to be 3rd down and a yard. Grambling gets a big break. And it looked like Bradford may have been the one coming up with it.
You know, it's very important in this kind of an offense for the quarterback to what we refer to as seat the football. When you take the snap, take the ball and bring it right into your stomach right away, because you got bodies crossing you. You got backs and linemen moving around you. And if the ball's hanging out there, a lot of times it's very easy to have the football get knocked out of your hands. That's what happened to Kendrick Nord that time.
Good percentage overall this year for Grambling on 3rd down. And that is the end of the first 15 minutes of play. Not what we expected. We thought we'd see some points on the board. We'll be right back for the second 15 minutes at the Georgia Dome.
Universities, black college football was exploiting its own success. They often worked their magic before smaller crowds and wanted very little in return except for the opportunity to play and coach in their respective arenas. Join host Robin Roberts of ESPN as she takes a look at the pioneers who should forever be a part of our memories. Celebrate Black History Month this February and watch Foundations of a Legacy, Black College Sports in America. Check your local listings for stations and times.
Grambling came into the game averaging 41 points a contest. South Carolina State, their per-game average, 36 points. Under the it had to happen department. No score after the first quarter of play. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. Happy holidays. Very happy and healthy New Year coming up for you and your family, from all of us at ESPN. Grambling looking at a 3rd and a little more than a yard. And the fumbled snap. Bradford, the fullback, their in and out man. Their fullback, he'll go sideline to sideline. He's the feature of their offense. He's got it for a first down.
Nice job again by Elliott Womack, the left guard, pulling out on that play. As we take a look at Ron Prince, that's the offensive line coach at South Carolina State. Ron Prince in his first year here for the Bulldogs, talking to Marvin Marshall, the rest of the offensive troops there. And Prince came in from Alabama A&M, took over for Edwin Bailey, who's a former Seattle Seahawk and South Carolina State player who left and took a job with the Carolina Panthers. Prince has done a great job with this young offensive line.
Jeff Nichols for the first time coughed it up at the end of the play after good yardage down to the 45. South Carolina State says they have taken over. No official word from the referee, though. That was the first carry for Jeff Nichols.
Grambling has the ball right there. Uzuma Moore, the center, does a good job just holding on to the football. And as long as he has it, it's pretty hard to say South Carolina State recovered the fumble.
Give Nichols 4 on first down to the 45 of South Carolina State. The Tigers, only 3 first downs so far. We talked about the 2 quarterbacks at the top of the telecast. Kendrick Nord only 1 for 5 in the passing department as he's looking to throw once again. And looking for his wingback. And it's intercepted. Taken away from Tyrone Jones by Macy Stevens, the free safety. Tough start today for Kendrick Nord.
Well, South Carolina State is getting pretty good pressure on Kendrick Nord when he's trying to throw the football. He's back on his back foot as he throws this. He's going to get hit. He doesn't get everything on the football. And nice job by the free safety reading the quarterback and then coming to help his cornerback, Russell Thomas. That's a great play by the free safety, Macy Stevens, just measuring the football and coming in for the interception, going up and catching it at the height of the jump. That's excellent work by the free safety.
4th pick of the year. A very versatile one in the secondary at the top of the telecast. We mentioned any injuries. He can play in any position in the secondary. The fullback, Manigault, not much available past the 7, and that is it. Worst field position to start a drive so far today for South Carolina State. With the way they have had the solid field position, you would have thought they would have been able to pick up some points, but they don't have a kicking game, and that is the big difference right now as they are working on the snap for their place kicker, Matt Young. That's the big difference. Grambling does have one of the better place kickers in Division I AA.
It's not that they don't work on it, because the 2 practices that we saw this week of South Carolina State, they dedicated a great deal of time to their special teams. They were out there working on it, but it's still different when you get in here inside the dome in a big game.
Manigault again. Taking it past the 9. Or make that Michael Hicks to the 10 behind the lead block of Manigault. Well, the Grambling defensive unit, 2nd in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, stopping the opposition. But they'd still give up 21 points per contest.
You know, and credit George Small, the defensive coordinator. He was hired in June, so he was not even there for spring ball. Replaced Dennis Winston. Came in, put a new defense in, an aggressive 4-3 defense. Didn't have a spring practice with him, had to put it in during summer camp. They kind of had to learn on the run. And then, of all things, they open up against Steve McNair and Alcorn State. So they're in a shootout in the first ball game defensively. But he's done a great job molding this defense. It's an aggressive 4-3 defense.
Ball start on the red.
You were talking about that Alcorn State game. They prevailed 62-56. A real defensive struggle.
Oh, yeah. There's George right there. Defensive coordinator. Dennis Winston left in the summer and went to Norfolk State up in Virginia. And George Small came in June and really has done a nice job molding this defense. And by the end of the year, they were playing outstanding defensive football. Got a big front four, and that's the basis of this defense.
Now can Grambling create a turnover. Dangerous territory for Marvin Marshall, and trying to run the option. He's belted from behind and put down in a hurry by Kai Burrell. They have not pitched it yet on the option, and an interesting point of the contest when you're working basically out of your own end zone to try it.
Again, a good decision down at that part of the field by Marvin Marshall, really not to pitch the ball. Don't want to drop it on the turf down by your own end zone.
Holmes has problems, and here comes Bradford for Grambling with blocking. There goes Norman Bradford down the sideline, and he's dumped at the 6. 1st and goal at the 6 for Grambling. There is a flag down just inside the 15. That's the first time we've seen Norman Bradford back there. And it sure paid off for the Tigers. Illegal block. But still, it was thrown inside the 10, so from the point of the infraction, they'll mark it off. Still great field position to start the drive for Grambling.
You know, and you hear people talk about hang time when they talk about punting. Well, and what's the importance of hang time? Well, you just saw an example of it. There was 0 hang time on this punt, and Bradford caught it on the run, and there was no coverage there. There's the block you see below the waist. Downfield. Looked like he had his head in a good position. Corey Lewis, number 38. Nonetheless, it's coming back for Grambling. A nice return, though, by Bradford. And again, the low punt, he caught it on the run. The defense had not gotten to him yet, and he was able to, with one good block on the outside, able to turn it into a big game.
And now Grambling starting at the South Carolina State 28. They get Nichols outside, and Nichols into the secondary. He takes it in. Touchdown, Tigers.
Really an outstanding play call by offensive coordinator Melvin Lee. He goes with a quick count, and it's a quick pitch. They fake to the fullback. South Carolina State has been attacking to the inside, really bringing some blitzes, trying to stop the fullback. A quick count and give it to the outside tailback on the outside.
Two nice blocks downfield by the two tackles. First, James Brooks, the left tackle, and then Christopher Johnson, the right tackle. As Elon Landau, the place kicker, has it blocked. It can be returned, of course, and bringing it down for South Carolina State for the 2 points. The Bulldogs, Steve Canty, takes it in for 2 on the return of the blocked extra point try by Landau. And as soon as I talk about the advantage with Landau as a place kicker, great penetration to block it. So with a big boost, Canty comes up with 2, and all of a sudden it's a 6-2 ball game with 11:26 left in the first half.
And action. So when you get that craving.
The Heritage Bowl is presented by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And by the historically Black Collegiate Coalition, promoting excellence in black college sports.
Sequence for South Carolina State after Grambling has taken the lead. On the touchdown run of 28 yards by Jeff Nichols, they blocked the Landau extra point try. The young man is 26 years old now. Tanya Israel. Going to be his story a little bit later this afternoon. What a story. A man that was in the Israeli army, 18 to 21, decided he wanted to come to America. Freddie Solomon back deep, also back deep. Russell Thomas, and it's going to be Thomas bringing it back from the 3. Thomas with blocking to the 20. Special teams concern have to be for Grambling because they did give up that punt return for a touchdown against Southern, and we look back at the block extra point.
Well, the pressure's going to come right from here. Wesley Gilliard is going to get penetration just to the left of the center. Get the block, and credit the aggressiveness of South Carolina State. They just gave up the touchdown. They don't give up on this play. Gilliard gets the block. Steve Canty picks it up, and a nice momentum switch for South Carolina State. They get the football, and they get 2 points on the scoreboard.
Very alert play by the Bulldogs. Show it, buddy. Show it. South Carolina State now first and 10 at their own 34. Arthur Marshall, nice play fake, bought him some time. What a block. And look at him, 3 laps. There goes Arthur Marshall for the first down across the 45. He just glides, and then all of a sudden, boom, Roadrunner takes off.
Well, Willie Jeffries says that he had the step that he's ever seen in this offense, the trap option. Of course, this isn't an option play here, but quickness is actually more vital than speed. The quickness to just get that first, elude the first defender, and then when he decides to accelerate, watch him stop and then accelerate. The quick first step, and he also has the speed on the back end of it to carry it for the first down.
Little customer, isn't he?
He really is. I mean, you know, at 5'8", 5'9", 175 pounds, you think he would be able to last the season, but he's a very durable kid as well.
His brother, Arthur Marshall, former wide receiver with the Denver Broncos, now working for his former coach of the Broncos, Dan Reeves, for the New York Giants, and he told us that he really wants to stay in football. He wants to either play in the NFL receiver or he'll go to the Canadian Football League as well.
He's the heart and soul of this football team, and I think he does have a chance to play at the next level because he's got that special gift. He's got that breakaway speed at 4'3" as a return man or a receiver. He has the ability to separate from defenders, and you can find a spot for somebody like that in the NFL.
2nd and 6. Nice little play fake. Marshall. Really wrong flag, no. Got rid of it. Albert Reese was applying the pressure, along with Brandon Walters, the 2 ends, and that was a heads-up play. Otherwise, it's a loss of 10.
His quickness, the thing that he is able to do on a consistent basis is really elude the first member of the defense all the time. He gets by J.D. Brown, but credit Grambling for continuing to attack him. They slow him up with one man. If he doesn't make the tackle, someone else flashes in his face, and that's good pursuit defense by Grambling.
Having his problems with the passing game, I asked him if he could call his own game. What would he call it? Started smiling, laughing. I'd roll out every time. I'd find Freddie. I'd find Early. I'd roll out every time. 5 now for the 49 Grambling. Here's the rollout. He's got the first down and wants to run for it. His own man really didn't help him all that much. Manigault, the fullback, it looked like he was going to throw a platform, and all of a sudden impeded his progress a little bit, and he comes up short by a yard. So punting situation now. South Carolina State, where it looked like automatic. Marvin Marshall will pick up the first down. Keith James back deep. Keith Holmes can get off a better one. He had a couple of nice ones. Bad snap again. James falls to the fair catch surprisingly. Back inside the 10, so mental mistake. The Tigers and Grambling State, and they're in a hole when we come back. They've got it at their own 5, but Eddie Robinson's side has a 4-point lead. Into the 4th annual Heritage Bowl, Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. We really enjoyed being with Eddie Robinson. Willie Jeffries, the head coach for South Carolina State, I got a kick out of it, though, talking about the differences. Eddie Robinson said, you know, when I started coaching here, and I call a meeting, I get there 15 minutes before, and you didn't know if anybody was there for the meeting or not. Now I get there a half hour before, and I can't find a parking place. In fact, he told us also that he had a wife and 2 kids before he had his first car.
I think the amazing is that college athletes have changed so much. He is still at the same place doing the same thing for 53 years. That is really amazing in and of itself.
Jeff, first down and carry. Everything that he said was just so common sense and matter of fact. Discipline, attitude, all-time winningest coach in college football history. Only 3 away from the 400-win plateau. This is number 556. He has coached in 556 games. He broke the record held by Amos Alonzo Stagg back in September. They run the flanker, and they run the flanker for first down. Now let's go downstairs. Jerry Montier.
I wonder how focused a coach can be at the age of 75. And Eddie Robinson is all football. An example of that, when they flew up early in the year back in September to play Hampton at East Rutherford, New Jersey, they came back in the rear window of his Cadillac had been broken out at Monroe, Louisiana Airport. That was on September 24th. He has been so busy coaching football, he has not had a chance in 3 months to get it fixed. But he promised Black Doris, after the game today, I'll get the rear window fixed.
Man has blinders on. Nichols with a nifty move on first down. Gets 4. But he said this is a very disappointing group. They've got nothing to hang their heads about. They won 9 straight games to start the season. They wanted this, though, to be win number 400 for Eddie Robinson. Unfortunately, Grambling lost the last 2 games.
Moving the ball pretty well, running the football, and really that is the thing that South Carolina State coach Willie Jeffries really wanted to avoid. He didn't want to see Grambling have success running the football on his wing tee. Doing a nice job mixing it up right now.
Bradford is the punting situation now. Tigers and Grambling. All we have to do tonight is talk about the 2 quarterbacks at the top of the telecast, and you know they'll have their problems.
Yeah,
all we have to do is
put the
beat
jinx on him, I guess.
The whammy is there. It's been a tough start in the passing department, but it's for both North and Marvin Marshall. Simpson has hit a couple of beauties, takes the high snap, almost has it blocked again. Freddie Solomon from the 31. Nowhere to go, Freddie.
Freddie is just trying to make a play, Joel. He hasn't been able to get his hands on the football. He hasn't got a pass reception. He's trying to get into the game and make a play. That time, a bad decision.
Heritage Bowl number 4 at the Georgia Dome. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. Good to have you with us. Grambling has a 4-point advantage for South Carolina State. Could be a shutout, but they had their extra point try blocked, and Steve County picked it up and took it the distance. Carolina State. Now Marvin Marshall to the offense, getting it for the second time. 10 outside of their own 26. Michael Hicks. Yards in the game coming in. A yard and a half that time. And over the first 3 years of Marvin Marshall's career at South Carolina State, he told us they ran the option a lot every game. This year, a completely different story, though. Let's see if maybe they kept the option a little bit more in the second quarter.
Had a nice blend of it as we take a look at Mark Mosby, number 56, outside linebacker for Grambling down. He kind of flew into that pile at the end of the play and fell off the pile. Marvin Marshall, we mentioned he's not the option all the time. Sooner or later, that pounding is going to really take its toll on him, but he's been very durable. He's got the great speed. He's very nifty with the ball in his hands, but he proved this year, I think, that he's a very accurate thrower. He completed 52% of his passes, 1,700 yards throwing. But tonight, so far, he hasn't been able to find too many good throwing lanes, and he hasn't been able to get the ball to his marquee receiver, Freddie Solomon. And before this game is out, he has got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Solomon. As you take a look, neither team throwing the football very well this game.
Another look back at play where Mark Mosby suffered that injury.
56, you can see his leg is pinned in right there underneath an offensive lineman as he see him kind of scream in pain as he falls over the pile. Take a look at and really nothing he can do. He just got to try to go with it. And
Looks like his own man, maybe Eric Fontenot, came over the back of his leg.
yeah, that's one of the tough things about playing on AstroTurf. Is there's a lot of tough things about playing on turf, but one of them is that there's no give. When your shoe gets locked in, it's a very sticky surface, particularly. That's a great sign to see him running off in his own power, but inside AstroTurf is a very sticky surface, and when your foot gets locked in somewhere, there's no give. You have to just kind of give with it yourself, with the rest of your body. Hope you can come out of the pile, and that time Mosby was able to do it.
2nd and 9 now as they get ready to put it. There's the option. Michael Hicks available on the short side of the field, and he's got more than enough for the first down across the 39. I only brought it up because of the last series.
They were able to get the ball to the perimeter this time. They forced the quick pitch by the quarterback, Marvin Marshall. He's not the guy getting on the perimeter. This is by Marshall, optioning the end man on the line. That's Eric Key, who's in the game right now for Mark Mosby. And a nice job again by Solomon. He isn't catching, but he's doing a good job blocking downfield on Roderick Mullen, the cornerback.
Gain of 11. 13 carries, 51 yards now. Marvin Marshall looking to break the containment. Got away from J.B. Brown again. Look at he does to Fontenot. And back against the grain he goes and plays. Shield. First down, Marvin Marshall.
He ran about 50 yards to get 16. Every bit of it was exciting. We mentioned that when you have a guy like this who makes plays on the perimeter, you never give up on a block. You just continue the play until the referee never know when he's going to stop running around. Now, he gets by Brown, then he gets by Fontenot. That's a mismatch right there.
Look at Al
Marshall
Shields
against Fontenot. But watch the block by Al Shields. He comes back right there on Eric Key, number 48. Well, he's an exciting guy to watch. He's not throwing very well tonight, but he's sure running the football.
Busted play. Marvin down. Also down to the original line of scrimmage. He's the only one who could get back to the original line of scrimmage throwing a busted play like that. It was like, I don't want it, you take it, but nobody wanted to take it. It looks like it could be offside, yes, against Grambling. Send back to the sideline.
Guys, update on the condition of strong side linebacker Mark Mosby, the junior. Apparently, he got a subluxation or dislocation of his left shoulder a moment ago, and that was popped back in position by Ricky McCall, the trainer. Now, Mosby is slated for surgery next week, early here in 1995. He's going to try to go back in the game and play as much as he can before he goes a week and a half.
All right, Jared, that's a big blow you have on the bench now because he's one of the biggest hitters, the junior from New Orleans.
You can see that look on his face. He does not like being where he's at right now.
It's huge over the left side. He's got the first down near the 31. Good blocking over the left side of the offensive line.
Offensive line is really play their left side. Raleigh Roundtree, the left tackle. Al Shield, the left guard. Great job blocking there on the inside. That's Kamar Lee, actually number 62 in there. The backup left guard is a nice block on J.B. Brown. And again, we mentioned Brown has got the quickness and the hitting ability, but when he gets matched up with those big bodies, he has a lot of problems.
First down at the 31. They're having chances. If you joined us late for South Carolina State, they have not been able to capitalize and barely get the playoff. Michael Hicks running into his own man again. Manigault, the fullback, still gets down inside the 27 before Keely Johnson brings him down.
I'm really impressed with Eric Fontenot, number 90 for Grambling. He's showing some good moves in this ballgame. We've seen the penetration on the inside plays. This time he went all the way to the sideline. He didn't actually make the tackle, but he was right in position to make the play. He is really an aggressive defender on the inside. Actually had to come out for a breather because he's outside for a couple of plays in a row.
2nd and 5 now. Marshall with good protection. Got it. Early Harris rather has it. There's the senior from Atlanta back home with a big grab for a first down for the deepest penetration so far for South Carolina State.
There's a big difference between scrambling to run and scrambling to throw. This time, Marshall is scrambling, but the whole time he's got his eyes down. You see, he knows where the line of scrimmage is and picks up his receiver, Early Harris, for a nice completion down inside the 15-yard line. Good poise and a sense of where he is on the field by Marvin Marshall.
First and 10. Marshall again with a blocker in front. Michael Hicks. Marshall comes out the hole. It's like a tailback who has a strong arm and can get it down. What a weapon. 9 carries, 63 yards now for Marvin Marshall. Numbers in the red zone this year for South Carolina State. Now they like to keep it on the ground when they get it close. We're looking at second, a little less than 3.
Marvin Marshall has run the ball for 10 touchdowns himself, so they like him to have an option.
Penetration once again. There's a flag on the play. That time Albert Reese got in early to bust up the play. Didn't finish, but... Well, then on the field, you can hear it in the background. So Grambling couldn't make that substitution quick enough.
Yeah, they wanted to get Fontenot back into the ballgame. He had to take himself out to get a little breather. The ballgame, they didn't have the right personnel in for their goal line defense, but they certainly want that big hoss in the ballgame when they're down inside their own 5-yard line.
You saw a player come off for Eddie Robinson's Grambling State Tigers, and not the type to erupt on the sidelines. You've watched Eddie Robinson. In fact, you talk about him being a gentleman. He's a gentleman. Yeah. In fact, he said when Kendrick Nord came over after the 3 interceptions against Southern at the Bayou Classic at the Superdome, he was so down on himself, I just try to give him the bright side of things. A reminder, there are other very important things in life.
Well, he's coached a lot of guys and a lot of good quarterbacks, and he knows as well as anybody that a quarterback can be very fragile, and you got to do everything you can to maintain that on a positive note.
2nd and 1, trips in the backfield, hits with flags on the play. Stop flag at the 2.
Something to the corner where Marvin can keep it up into the corner. Pull back left two.
Well, it sounds like the fullback's going to be a part of the next plan. In the neutral zone was Grambling.
Well, you can hear Willie Jeffrey saying he wants to get something sprint to the left where Marshall can get to the corner. They've tried to go into the middle of the defense on 2 plays in a row, and without the penalties, Grambling has really stuffed those. Trying to get Marshall to the outside, look for some kind of a rollout or an option down the line to the left side here, the wide side of the field.
When we talk about against Southern, the defense didn't give up a touchdown. 3 came back on interceptions of Kendrick Nord, the other on a punt return. So his defense has been solid all year long. 2nd less than 1. 2nd and issues now. Michael high fake, and he sprints left as you had called it. Great fake. And South Carolina State has their first lead of the contest.
That is the specialty of Marvin Marshall. Taking then the quick first step and the acceleration to the sideline. Roderick Mullen, number 8 for Grambling, was on the end of the line, and he's very fast. But one false step, and you get burned for the...
Better exchange on that extra point try as Matt Young puts it up and through. Minute 40 left of the first half of the Bulldogs with their first lead on top.
Warning. Fake, and Roderick Mullen on the outside really just kind of got lost trying to find the football. And that was all Marshall needed to get there for the touchdown.
8 plays, 73-yard drive. It should be 4:37. Marshall, of course, and on the ground for the most part, although finally got a pass completion. Early Harris, the high kickoff is going to be taken by James. And James gets the pile. Extra yardage out across the 30 to the 31. It's Grambling with the ball now for the 7th time offensively, and another look at the score.
Take a look at the touchdown now. Right there is Roderick Mullen. Now, he's responsible for contain on the outside. You're going to see he gets caught looking into the football on the great fake by Marvin Marshall. Watch him look in, then one step to the inside. All Marshall needs. And even though Mullen has great speed, he's already beat. As soon as he took that one step to the inside, he was beat for the touchdown.
Right. Start today. Andrew Norton, the passing department, setting up the screen and short of Norman Bradford. Even if he grabs the ball, the linebacker is there, Damian Palmer, for South Carolina State. Read it very well.
We heard Dr. Punch tell us earlier that South Carolina State defensive coordinator Ben Blacknall had made a commitment. There was a chance they were really going to try to pressure Kendrick Nord. They were going to leave some spots open, and so far they're getting good enough pressure. They're forcing Nord to throw off his back foot. He's not able to set in the pocket. Passing, that is not typical Grambling.
Nichols on the toss. The kick out block. And he gets just about 8 on 2nd and 10.
That's the same play they scored their touchdown earlier on the ball game. A lot of blitzing to the inside with the linebackers. The quick toss to the outside. Get away from the defense. Get to the quick corner and make a play.
It's blocked by the left tackle Brooks. Critical 3rd down now for Grambling. Inside of a minute and counting. Nichols weaving his way for the first down across the 45 on 3rd and a little less than 2. Coming up at the half, we will check in with Mike Tirico and the gang down to the Orange Bowl. News from that contest and the big game between Nebraska and Miami. News of the Pac-10 Big Ten matchup between Oregon and Penn State, and a closer look at the sideline that Andy Robinson. And now Grambling has used their final timeout. You joined us late. They used 2 very early in the first 10 minutes, the first quarter. So now they are out of timeouts with only 50 seconds left in the half.
And that's really the one they would have wanted to save. You don't want to burn all your timeouts, particularly when you're trying to save that one so you can bring your field goal unit on. In the event that you can pick up 30 or 40 yards, you have that one timeout that you can stop the clock, bring your field goal unit on. Now they're really going to have to work the sideline route and try to stop the clock with other methods.
Right now we're going to work the sideline route with Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Guys, you would think that Todd Blackledge was in the huddle a minute ago when Melvin Lee was talking to the offense.
Todd did exactly what he told his offensive line guys that we're going to run the outside.
Power sweeps, the tall stuff. They're coming so much on the inside stunts, bringing the inside pressure.
We're also going to try to work our passing into the outside from a drop back set.
So we have a chance to pick up the blitz. Good call, Todd.
First down. Not many options. Man, it's complete. That's Jones for the first down. Let's stop the clock as they reset the chains inside the 30 to the 29. Perfectly thrown ball, catching him in stride.
Great touch pass by Kendrick Gordon, and for one of the first times in the ball game, he had the opportunity to really set his feet and follow through on the throw, and you could see the touch as he hit the crossing route to Tyrone Jones.
They'll bring a big edge in the kicking game for Grambling with their place kicker, Gilad Landau. Nord in trouble, going for the home run ball. Not the way for the last second. Jones for the quarterback, Russell Thomas. It looked like Nord took a shot at the end of the play as well.
Yeah, they brought the strong safety, Steve Canty, number 9, off the corner. And again, Nord was throwing it off his back foot. Here's number 9, Canty, at the bottom of your screen. Nobody blocks him. That's the hot receiver, number 20, coming out there, Bradford. And Kendrick Nord knows that guy's unblocked. Tried to go for the home run, but comes up a little bit short.
30 seconds left in the half. Grambling out of timeouts, and they're down by.
We talked about Solomon not getting a pass catch. Curtis Caesar hasn't been real involved either.
Wide open, speaking of, Curtis Caesar, touchdown. "29 yards on the score. Got away from the free safety, Macy Stevens.
There are certain guys that you have on your football team that you just know they can make plays, and you have to make a point of giving them enough opportunities to make plays. Curtis Caesar is one of those guys for Grambling. They got the man-to-man coverage on the outside with Kevin Pope, and he turned him completely around.
See if they can do a little bit better job protecting Landau's extra point try. They do. It's good. Grambling with a 4-point advantage with 24 seconds left in the half.
Take a look now. Again, they come with the man pressure. They blitz the linebacker. Nord stays in, has enough time to set his feet. And a beautiful post-flag route. That is the favorite route of the Grambling Tiger offense, the post-flag. Curtis Caesar sells it to the inside, turns his man Pope completely around. Touch by Kendrick Nord. He has a very nice touch throwing down the field. Curtis Caesar is comes from a very talented quarterback in the Southwest Athletic Conference. Played at Prairie View. He has 2 brothers that are on the team here. One brother, Corey, is a redshirt sophomore wide receiver. Another brother, Calvin, is a walk-on defensive back. So very happy family right now.
They both redshirted this year, and the staff told us they should next year.
Curtis Caesar, a guy I think that, and it's interesting too. I mean, he had what appeared to be almost a serious in the Florida A&M game. He tore one ligament and strained another. He played sparingly against Southern and was able to come back. I mean, it's actually he's playing near full speed at this point in the ball game.
We saw those numbers for Nord. Got it back together in time for that final drive of the first. Landau to Swiver. Going to take that time as the quarterback. They have timeouts, and now they've got it 38, but only 15 seconds left in the half. Still one timeout left, make it for the Bulldogs. It's good to have you with us at Heritage Bowl number 4. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. Grambling got on the board first, taking the 6-0 lead, only to see their extra point try batted right back at them. And Steve Canty took it down for a 2-point conversion the other way for South. Marshall took it in. Gives South Carolina State their first lead of the game. Only to see a little more than a minute left in the half. Grambling get it back. Take it all the way down the field from their own 31. Now will Marshall take some chances. Michael Hicks.
We prepare them for life. Our challenging academic programs cover over 50 specialized areas, and our work experience programs introduce students to the working world. With almost 5,000 students, more than 75 student organizations, and a full spectrum of campus activities, South Carolina State is just right for you. And
welcome back once again to Heritage Bowl number 4. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. Grambling with a late touchdown in the first half with a 13 lead over Carolina State. We're going to head down to the sideline now and join our special guest, Sam Crenshaw, the host of Black College Sports Today. Let's go downstairs. Sam?
Thank you very much, Joel. You think of black college football, one name instantly comes to mind, Eddie Robinson. Why not? His record is well documented. When he came to Grambling in 1941, if you wanted to ride on the train, you had to get on the track with a red flag and flag the train down to stop. Well, now the Tigers are internationally known. And after 53 seasons, Eddie Robinson is showing no signs of slowing down. Good shot. Let's go.
I've been here 53 years now. I came in 1941. Hurry back to your position. Let's go.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. That's his motto.
It's the only job I ever had. When I got out of college, I came here. When you come back, you'll have been a cop.
You figure 75-year-old man out here hitting the bags up at 6 o'clock in the morning. If he can do it, I know I can.
I'm trying to win, man. I'm concerned about trying to win, going to the 400. It wasn't my idea, just my idea to try to win. You know what I really want to do? I want to mean something to the game. I want to mean something to the guys who play the game.
Just by being around him, you learn how to become a better person, because Coach Rod he's a very, very fine man.
These are the things that I tell to our football players. I believe the framers of the Constitution fixed it so a man can be or do whatever he wants to do if he's willing to pay the price. You have to be willing to pay the price.
He stresses more about us going to class, getting education, more than football. You know.
People don't give people things. They earn them. And this is the only thing that I've ever asked for, is just give me an opportunity to compete and earn it.
When I first got here, he wanted us to take an educated person development class, teach us how to use knives and forks and eat properly, without really table conversations. He's a nice man, You can tell he's a coach that cares more about you after your football life.
Some people come from homes where they didn't have any. They had that kind of training, and you want them to learn everything that they can learn.
I come through with a lot of personal problems, registration problems, getting in school, and girl problems, and everything else.
I guess in time he has the kind of what they call like when the girls talk to her and smile, and you tell him you don't just go up and say, I want you to be my girl. It doesn't happen like that.
He comes through ringing his bells, cowbell he got. He come around about 6:30 in the morning, wake us up. Get out! Get out!
Lean on the floor before I leave out of the room. And sometimes I run back and open the door, and some of them are getting back in the bed and things like that.
He scolds them, so to speak.
That's too slow, son.
It's like a father would scold the son, I learn something from him out here right now, almost every day.
Above all, we want them to be good citizens. Now, that's really important, and I like to go and visit them in their homes afterwards and see what kind of daddy he turned out to be. It's a lot of fun in keeping up with them.
I want to love you the best that I can.
And they, next to my family, they're the most important people in the world to me. These guys, I don't really think you can coach people the way you need to coach them if you don't love them.
Grambling's leading South Carolina State 13-9. 4-point lead at the half of the Tigers. Grambling stand for South Carolina State. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. One of the real keys for Grambling was keeping the Division I AA All-American Anthony Cook, the exceptional defensive end, out of the backfield in the first 30 minutes of play.
Yeah, he's a legitimate pro prospect, a guy who's made a lot of big plays for the last 2 years, and here's what they did. Here's Cook right here. This time they're going to run a loop stunt, and watch Grambling's offensive linemen just know where he's at. They take a count, 2 bodies there to get a knock on him. They keep him out in the passing play. Next time, here he is, the second man in. They're going to run the ball at him, and he's going to get double-teamed. Watch 2 big offensive bodies on him, the tight end and the tackle. He can't spin out in time to make the play. And then what they've done a lot of, they're running away from him. Here he is on the end of the line. They're going to sweep it to the opposite side and just take him out of the play by running out of his area. So Anthony Cook just hasn't been able to really get it geared up here in the first half, but he has a whole half of play to make some plays. As we take a look at the first half stats, you can see the passing yardage for neither team very good. 16 yards for South Carolina State, 59 for Grambling, but they both started to pick it up there in the later part of the second quarter. Pretty even ball game to 1 turnover by Grambling, helping South Carolina State stay close.
And we're talking about the quarterbacks of the top of the telecast. Kendrick Nord of Grambling, Marvin Marshall from South Carolina State. A very slow start for both offensively. Nord got to go in the passing department. Marshall mostly on the ground.
Well, and that means more for Kendrick Nord, those numbers, because Grambling depends on him throwing the ball much more than South Carolina State depends on Marvin Marshall throwing it. He's been making plays running the ball, but good job by the South Carolina State defense putting pressure on Kendrick Nord. They watched the Florida A&M game. They studied the Southern game. They said, we can rattle him if we can get some pressure on him. They were able to do it.
Featured early for South Carolina State was their tailback, their leading rusher Michael Hicks. He had a solid first half.
Yeah, Michael Hicks, I mean, he's a physical back. He's got the great speed. As you look at his breakdown there, really ran the ball pretty well to the right side. Primarily coming into the game, they had been a left-sided football team in terms of running behind their left side, their left guard and tackle. But in this ball game, a lot more yardage, kind of breaking their own tendencies, running the ball to the right, picking up some good yardage.
Now, in last year's game, South Carolina State was shut out by Southern 11-0 in Heritage Bowl number 3. And their offensive coordinator, Anthony Johnson, said, we came in and we added too many things. We tried to do too much. We tried to simplify things this year without getting carried away.
That's right. They wanted to, and that's a good lesson for any coach to learn. You get to a bowl game, you get a lot of time to prepare, and sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a coach is to have too much time to prepare. You've got more than that normal 1 week of preparation, and they put in too many new things. This time, the lesson they learned, hey, let's stick with what got us here, and what got them here was keeping the ball in the hands of Marvin Marshall. I still think for South Carolina State in the second half, they must find a way to get Freddie Solomon more involved. They got to get him the football in this half.
Come right back with the second half kickoff. As Grambling at the end of the first half with a 4-point lead.
Universities, black college football was exploiting its own success. They often worked their magic before smaller crowds and wanted very little in return except for the opportunity to play and coach in their respective arenas. Join host Robin Roberts of ESPN as she takes a look at the pioneers who should forever be a part of our memories. Celebrate Black History Month this February and watch Foundations of Legacy. Black college sports in America. Check your local listings for stations and times.
The Heritage Bowl is presented by the Historically Black Collegiate Coalition, promoting excellence in black college sports, and by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
The queen of the Heritage Bowl, what a magnificent day it is turning out to be at the Georgia Dome. Beautiful facility. A 13-9 lead for Grambling. We head down to the third member of our team, Dr. Jerry Buck. Jerry.
Thanks a lot, Joe. I spoke to Willie Jeffries in the locker room at halftime. South Carolina State head coach told me they're going to open up their offense significantly in the second half. They're concerned because the linebackers are sitting on Hicks in the sprint draw. So they're going to go to maybe possibly an option, or maybe even the trap on second and third and long and try to get a lineman a helmet on some of those linebackers. They're going to open up the offense if they can in the second half. Defensively, they're concerned because the toss sweep is hurting them out wide. They're running their quarterbacks off in man coverage and leaving an open lane outside. They're going to try to get some help for their quarterbacks deep and still bring a lot of pressure inside on the blitz. Eddie Robinson's locker room, Grambling at halftime, he challenged his offensive line. You've got to give our quarterback some time to throw. We've got receivers we haven't used in a month. We have got to get the ball to Jones and Caesar in the second half. They changed their blocking schemes up front. Melvin Lee, the offensive line coach, did a lot of changing, trying to pick up the blitz in the Grambling offensive line here in the second half. Joel?
All right, Jerry.
Yeah, South Carolina State really gave Grambling some problems with their pass protection because they were bringing people from all different directions. I look for a little more solid protection from here at Grambling in the second half. Maybe turn just one guy loose on the end.
Set up loud, ready, solid with blockers down the sideline. Great return by Solomon all the way inside the 45 to the 41 of Grambling. 53 yards of return to the wide receiver.
I mentioned that they had to find a way to get him involved in the ballgame. It didn't take long, just simply the first play of the second half. I mean, he just is too good of a player when he has his hands on the football. Watch the quick move to the outside, the change of direction, and then the breakaway speed on the sideline. I mean, he is a guy that you just have to find ways to get the football in his hands. I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw a couple, try to throw some quick passes to him in the second half. Get him the football early.
They run early Harris in motion to the same side. Marvin Marshall, John Richards, and Nelson. Nice block from Michael. appeared that nothing was developing. Forced out by Kiefer Phillips.
You know, Joel, on that play, they ran Freddie Solomon on a hook route, and he was open. It was a zone defense by Grambling. But when he was open, Marvin Marshall didn't have good vision, didn't have a good throwing lane. By the time he did get vision, the play was covered up, and he had to run the football. So that's one of the problems Marvin has, is he's got to run the places where he can get some good open vision lanes downfield to see his receivers.
2nd and 5. Michael Hicks. Manigault got out. Looking for Sue from behind. Phillips once again in on the stop. And a loss all the way back to the 38. So loss of a couple of yards on that running play. First team all-conference. The senior from Baton Rouge, Kiefer Phillips.
Now, Kiefer was a highly recruited guy, actually transferred to Grambling from the University of Southwestern Louisiana, where he started. When he was a freshman, he started a few games there in Southwestern Louisiana, and then transferred to Grambling, had to sit out. And as you see, this year was the Defensive Player of the Year in the SWAC.
Marvin Marshall calling the play for line now on 3rd and long, 7, almost 8. Running the option, calls his own number, and comes up short, just barely though. By less than a yard, you've got to believe with their kind of kicking game that they're looking at 4th and short, they're going for it. And Bowman early score, North Carolina, the Texas Longhorns. And are they going to mount the ball? Yes, they will. They'll bring on Holmes and Hunter. Some of them's right there. Battle for field position. Very important early to Willie Jeffries in the second half.
Well, his defense played good in the first half. They gave up the one long play to Caesar right at the end of the half, but for the most part, they played very well, and I think he wants to try to pin Grambling down. The key now for the punter, Holmes. Play a game, this really doesn't hurt Holmes at all. They're going to go ahead and punt the football.
But now Timothy Holmes find the sideline and make it pay off for Willie Jeffries. Get 4th and less than a yard. They went for it a couple times in the first half.
You know, and also Grambling kept their regular defense in on that play, and then when the penalty came in, now they ran their punt rush team onto the field, so they were expecting possibly a fake punt.
And it is going to be a fake punt. Can Holmes get outside though? No. So they fake on 4th and 6, and they don't keep the regular offense in on 4th and less than a yard. An interesting call. And Grambling stayed at home, and now they've got it back as they take over on downs. 12:38 left of the 3rd quarter. Grambling has the ball when we come back with a 4-point lead.
And action. So when you get that craving,
Presented by the Historically Black Collegiate Coalition, promoting excellence in black college sports. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
A wasted chance for Willie Jeffries Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Frustration. They've killed a fake punt. And they had the ball to start that drive at the Grambling 41 after a great return to the 50 yards by Freddie Solomon. Now flags on the play, procedure call coming up against Grambling. You would think Roderick Fobbs, the ball carrier, but real confusion on that last sequence for South Carolina State.
well, here's Willie Jeffries. Now, this was when they got to delay a game on 4th and 1. So obviously, Willie had called the fake punt on 4th and 1, which was a good call in this part of the field. Then when they got the penalty, it's 4th and 6, and the play was not changed. That's a fake punt all the way. 4th and 1, he picks up the first down. 4th and 6, it's a much different situation. The penalty, and you saw Willie Jeffries' reaction, the penalty really affected that play call on the sideline to go for the fake punt.
Let's go downstairs to Jerry Puncher.
I just spoke to some of the South Carolina State coaches behind the base. They told me that actually Willie did call off the punt fake after the 5-yard penalty, and what happened was Timothy Holmes saw it overload to one side and took off running on his own, but the fake punt had been called off by the head coach after the 5-yard delay game penalty.
All right, Jerry, the penalty was on Grambling, but declined by South Carolina State. 2nd and 10 now. And they set up the screen for Winback Jones with blockers. Taco Jones to the boundary. And he's got a first down inside the 35. And a flag at the end of the play. Personal foul coming up. Well-disguised screen. By Kendrick Nord.
One way to slow this pass rush, and South Carolina State been putting good pressure on Kendrick Nord, is you call a screen. You draw and invite the rush to you. You keep backpedaling, retreating, and nice touch pass. And then he got two big linemen out in front of him and a great block by Elliott Womack.
Personal foul at the end of the play, though. Negates some of the positive yardage, but it was a dead ball foul.
Here's the end of the play here. Tyrone Jones. That's a good block right there by Caesar. The penalty is certainly not there. Must have happened away from the football. A little bit of personal foul penalty.
Now they still haven't moved the chains. And it looked like the play was long over when the flag was thrown. It would still give them the first down. And it is dead ball. So a dead ball foul against Grambling. Still going to be a first down, though, because of the move by Jones on the screen play. And now Grambling, as they sort the situation out, is going to have a first down. Still back in the road territory now after the mark-off.
Take a look on the screen play. This is Elliott Womack. Now watch him get out here and lead the screen. Nord does a nice job retreating, then a little touch pass. Now stop it right there. Here's Womack again. Watch this big man, a 300-pounder, get a crushing block right here to free his man on the corner. Watch Womack just destroy his man. One extra block's all that Tyrone Jones needed to get to the outside. But a penalty at the end of the play took a lot of that yardage away. A very well-designed screen. You get those two big men out in spaces, and they both get a body on somebody. You hate to have that one come back.
Well, with the personal foul, it was right outside of the 45. South Carolina State now is going to be pushed to 10 all the way back to Grambling 38. But marked off the 15. The fullback, the tailback, trying to slide the boundary. Bob's brought down.
And that's the play right there that Willie Jeffries said his defense was hurt by in the first half. The toss sweep, a lot of defenders committed to the inside, but that time Jermaine Derrickott does a great job staying on his outside contained position. Look at Willie Jeffries. That's that game face that his players and coaches were telling us about. Said he's a great guy during the week, and about an hour or so before the game, he puts on a game face, and you really don't want to mess with him. I wouldn't want him to be the punter of Timothy Holmes after doing that on his own.
Bobs are making a call on the road pressure. When Thomas deflected it, then Macy Stevens a crack at it. It was intended for the wingback, Tyrone Jones, but again another shot taken by the quarterback.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job disguising what they're doing defensively. They're lining up in different fronts, different alignments, and they're coming from a lot of different directions against Kendrick Nord. And he's had to throw a lot of balls fading back off his back foot, not able to follow through. There's Ben Blacknell, the defensive coordinator for Willie Jeffries, and doing a nice job with his defensive game plan.
Only 4 of 12 so far. Nord came through though that final drive. Better than 50 yards he picked up. Passing on that final drive. First half, he's got his man at the first down with a block for Caesar downfield. He takes it for 46, so a big third down conversion on 3rd and 10. Good for 16 yards and better protection for Nord.
Yeah, you can see all the guy needs is a little bit of time. He has got the gun. Here's Caesar working man-to-man against Kevin Pope. That's who he beat for the touchdown earlier. So you see Pope giving him extra cushion on the hook route. Turns in a perfect throw right on the numbers for the senior wide receiver.
Some catches now. One of those two good for a score at the end of the first half. 5 yards receiving now from Curtis Caesar. They give it finally to Tyrone Jones after the fake on the counteraction. They're going to go to the big pass, or the shovel toss. And boy, you talk about a play that looked almost in slow motion because of the fake coming back to the near side. Very deceptive group.
That was a very deceptive play. I think it actually even fooled the officials because if the ball is pitched backwards, it should never be called an incomplete pass. It should be a fumble, a live ball. And I think that ball was pitched clearly behind the quarterback. It was just such a different looking play. Watch 3 fakes. Fake to the fullback, fake to the wingback, and then a pitch. And as long as that ball is pitched backwards, it's a live football. That should have been a fumble and a loose ball, not an incomplete pass.
2nd and 10, Nord. Davis, tight end. First time, Ronaldo grab is good outside of 42 for short yardage. Back to that lateral, and it did look like it was thrown backwards for Tyrone Jones. He would have picked up easily 10 yards as they knocked him out right around the first down marker. The play, the whistle's dead.
Talk about Anthony Cook and his a big playability on the defense. Watch him working here. You can see two bodies committed to Anthony Cook. That's the greatest form of respect that you can pay a defensive lineman. He's paying the price for it right now. And really his whole senior year, he's had to face a lot more double teams. It's been a much different ballgame for him than this is senior season.
Here they come after Nord. He's in trouble. He's on his way down. They have man the secondary and brought just about everybody else.
And that right there is a case where a quarterback is tired of getting hit in the pocket because he stopped looking downfield very quickly and started watching defensive linemen. Watch him as he drops back. And right now he's looking at defenders. He's not even looking downfield at the secondary anymore. He's trying to find out where they're coming from and where he can run to get away from them.
Skip Damian off of the outside linebacker to sack. Sophomore from right here in Atlanta. It's pretty solid in waiting for Mike. Brandon Simpson. It's on for the Bearcats. Takes it completely back to 15. So South Carolina's taking the ball once again. 9:35 left in the third quarter. They get it back. Down by 4. A pioneer among black head coaches, Willie Jeffries in his 12th year at South Carolina State. But he did make a major breakthrough tie back in 1979.
Yeah, he became the first black coach to head a Division 1A program when he coached at Wichita State. Of course, Eddie Robinson has made history in many ways, and Willie Jeffries also a history-making head coach in his ball.
Michael Hicks struggles for about 4 on first down. And the Willie Jeffries ledger. South Carolina State, Wichita State, Howard. The last 5 at South Carolina State.
You know, in that first stint when he was in Orangeburg, they won 5 MEAC titles, and the one they won this year outright, the first time since 1983 that they've won the title. So he has really brought things back to a great level for South Carolina State.
They find the tight end for the first time, and he loses it. He's down and loose, and Grambling's got it inside the 20. They took it away from the tight end, Kelly Craig. And unfortunately, there is a Tiger down, the man who made the fumble recovery. Coming up with a Kai Burrell. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him by the ball.
Yeah, I think he just fell on the ball wrong. You know, they teach you in those drills to kind of circle and curl around the ball. But watch the hit here at the end of the play. Keely Johnson, number 29, is the first one there. And then Brian Livingston, the strong safety, 37, makes the big hit, puts the helmet on the football. And there you see Kai Burrell, who comes up with a fumble. So a big turnover for the Grambling defense.
So now they start the South Carolina State 17. And Nord looking for his battle. He's got Bradford. Touchdown, Grambling. The 17th touchdown of the season for Norman Bradford. He went over the cornerback, Steve Caddy.
I'm really impressed with the arm strength of Kendrick Nord. Kendrick Nord, again, threw this ball backing up. I mean, he was backpedaling as he threw the ball and just flicked it. I mean, you hear about a guy having a live arm. He has a live arm. The ball just kind of shoots out of his hand when he delivers it.
Eli Landau in point after trial. Another bad snap. So the failed extra point drive. Unfortunately for Grambling, it wasn't taken the other way for 2 for South Carolina State. But Kendrick Nord comes through and capitalizes on the turnover on the very first play. The touchdown toss to Norman Bradford.
You always get your way at Oarsman Chevrolet. Our #1 deal from your #1 dealer. Get the lowest prices of the year during Oarsman Chevrolet's giant end-of-year clearance. Economical Geo Metro, just $152 a month. Chevy Laptop conversion van, automatic, AR, AM, FM cassette, power accessories, all for only $338 a month. You always get your way. You always get your way at Oarsman Chevrolet.
big turnover. Brian Livingston taking it away from the tight end with big hit. And then Kendrick Norton coming through right away on that first down pass. 17 yards on the strike. And what a perfect pass of the quarterback to get it to Norman Bradford out of the backfield. And now a 10-point lead for Grambling at 19-9. 8:46 left in the third quarter as Gilon Landau is ready to kick it away. It'll sail out of bounds. So they'll take it to 35 now. First and 10 at the 35 for South Carolina State. Flip back on the sequence and the takeaway.
Turnovers can really change the flow of a game. Just a perfect hit with the helmet on the ball by Brian Livingston, and then Kai Burrell recovers. Now, here's an all-out blitz. Dr. Points talked about the chances that they're taking. Watch the tight end and the fullback coming out. They both get, the tight end is wide open. The fullback beats his man, and Kendrick Norton, good protection, picks a man, and the perfect touch pass right over the top to Bradford. I'll say, Bradford is a fullback in this offense, but they're projecting him to be a wide receiver at the next level, and he showed right there he has the ability to separate from a defender. And Kendrick Norton, the numbers still aren't all that impressive, but the ones that stand out, the 2 touchdown passes, he's made some clutch throws under some heat.
Well, he was only 1 for his first 7 with an interception. Since that point, 6 of 9 with a couple of touchdown tosses. So he started to pick it up, to say the least. And Landau now is going to take it back to the 30. They want either Thomas or Freddie Solomon to handle the ball for return here. There's Freddie Solomon, quite a story. What a bounce back here in senior season. They're sending it towards the quarterback, though. It's going to be Russell Thomas from the 8. He's set it up to the right side. Ball pursued that way, so he tries to bend it back. What a pop he took to 26. There is a flag right at the end of the play. What a tackle.
That flag came in very late from the back official. The guy back by the end zone called that penalty very late. It was a good tackle on the sideline by Andre Pinckney, but just into that white area on the sideline, very close.
And the flag going against the return team. Eddie Robinson's Tigers going on 2 straight losses with a 10-point lead now. They'll mark it off.
You can see Willie Jeffries is suspecting that the penalty was a late hit on the sideline, but it was actually an illegal block in the back on his return team.
The official sorting out the infraction for the head coach.
Right there is going to be the block in the back right on the sideline, as you see. Norris Hollington, number 35, a backup running back for South Carolina State. That's where the penalty was called. It was not the late hit on the sideline.
The one-back set now from Michael Hicks from Marvin Marshall. Running the option. And there goes Hicks. He's close to a first down, about a yard short, a little less. So good yardage on first down for South Carolina State into the road territory, trailing by 10. Last thing they wanted to do was have to play catch up against a team that averages 41 a game. Michael Hicks was 75 so far. Comes in averaging 127 per game. As you had talked about the start of the second half, they've got to keep Freddie Solomon involved. Penalty 17 last year's junior season. Bounce all the way back to 40 this year. They all conferences will be returner and a wide receiver. They set in motion now on second entrance. First one was in the direction of Solomon. Marshall now in trouble. Carrying back around the 21. Coverage downfield by Roderick Mullen, keeping up with Freddie Solomon.
You know, when you're not used to playing a guy like a Marvin Marshall, it takes a while to adjust to his style, and Grambling is now starting to settle in, and watch him funnel him back. The big guys just stay at home. They say, hey, I'm not going to chase him anymore, because if I stay here, there's a good chance he's going to come right back in my area, and that's exactly what happened there, as Albert Reese just stayed right at home and waited for Marshall to try to bring the play back to his side, and he made the big hit at the end of the play.
Unfortunately, the starting quarterback, Kelly Johnson, the junior, a little rock injured on that run.
I think he cramped up. It looked to me like right at the end of the play, because he was the one chasing Marshall, that his lower leg just cramped up right at the end of the play. He should be able to come back into the ball game. They just have to get him on the sideline and kind of rub that cramp out. Here's Achille Johnson right there, number 29, and he's going to keep chasing the play. And then watch at the end of the play as he extends. When he gets up off the pile, his lower left leg just kind of cramps up right there. You can see the calf on the left leg just kind of cramped up. You got to go down and kind of work it out. That's a helpless feeling right there when the leg cramps up.
So now third, and just about 6 back to the 20. Contact was made. Fondo in the first quarter was phenomenal at anticipating the snap count.
You know, and that's
a couple times.
That's good communication with the quarterback Marshall and the center Jarrell Moore. That time Moore, they worked that out. Moore says to the quarterback, hey, if I feel him come off sides, if he jumps at all, I'm going to snap the ball. You be ready to take the snap. Even if we're not ready to run the play, we'll get an automatic 5 yards the easy way.
That's the way to get 5 the 6 you need back in a hurry. Now it brings up third and less than 1. They're running the one-back set with Hicks. He's still in there.
There's such a big difference. I mean, when you're talking about 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 1, I mean, it just opens up so many more opportunities for you to now run the football, go with your strength, and pick up a necessary first down.
And they're bringing the fullback as well, Marcel Bush. He's the fullback Bush. I believe he got it on that second effort. Across the 26. A 10-point lead for Grambling. It's up 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Willie Jeffries calls himself a cordial guy 99% of the time. 6 a.m. game day. The game face goes on. A different person completely.
We mentioned Ron Prince, the offensive line coach in his first year from Alabama A&M, and when he took over, he only had one returning starter. That was left guard Al Shield. Now that the season's over, 3 of his players made all-conference, and they averaged 440 yards a game offensively. He's really done a nice job with his young offensive line.
Marshall looking to throw, running solid, and J.B. Brown with the arm drag and toss. Well, we remind you tomorrow on ESPN, it all starts at 1 o'clock Eastern with the Liberty Bowl from Memphis as it's East Carolina taking on the Fighting Illini. And then tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern, the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. Baylor going up against the Pac-10s, Cougars of Washington State University. Cougars ranked 25th. Both teams coming in with identical 7-4 records. So a bowl doubleheader tomorrow on ESPN. Loss of 7 brings it up to 2nd and 17 now. They go with 3 wide receivers, 1 times today. And Marshall has Solomon available. Solomon with the first down across the 40 to the 41. Almost broke it for the big one.
Nice job on that young offensive line, giving a nice throwing lane for Marvin Marshall. Now watch Solomon working against a zone defense, just kind of finds the hole. He gears it down. He's got the great speed, but he knows to gear it down in the zone defense, right in the soft spot, and make the big catch. And it's great to get him involved for Willie Jeffries in this offense.
First catch of the day, Freddie Solomon is 41st on the year, and Michael Hicks spells him immediately. And we head down to the sideline with Jerry Bunch here.
Guys, for years, the South Carolina State wide receiving corps has been nicknamed the Air Dogs. Now, basically what happens is when you come in as a freshman, you go through what they call the puppy line. That's an initiation. It's somewhat private, but it involves catching a number of passes and running a lot of steps. But once you graduate, you become an official Air Dog, and you get to put an Air Dog tattoo on your shoulder. So, as Early Harris has warned, not only you play football 4 years, but you're an Air Dog tattoo forever.
All right, Jerry Marvin Marshall looks like he wanted to screen, but never got. Good idea of what a loss. He throws in the general direction of Freddie Solomon, who's on the sideline. So it'll bring up 2nd and long. But all of a sudden now they're starting to put the ball up with more frequency and going to the 3 wide receiver set, bringing in the freshman Bobby McGowan.
They're feeling like they need to try to open things up, try to spread this defense out. They're not having a great deal of success running straight inside, and that's in large part due to the good front four that Grambling has. Those are some big tackles they have on the inside, and Fontenot and Reese, and had a lot of trouble just moving them out and opening up easy lanes to run, just trying to spread the defense and opens and Reese on the outside.
Third and 10 situation. Marshall with pressure from J.D. Brown over the ball for Freddie Solomon to make the catch. Well, they give it to him. They asked the umpire.
They're going to give him a catch because the receivers were blocked. Their vision was blocked behind the play and couldn't see. I think the ball did skip off the turf, but I think that he had shielded his body away from the referees, and he's going to get the favorable call. Watch again as he fakes to the out. Now here comes the low throw. It's clearly on the ground, but because the referee was behind the action, nobody had a clear shot to see whether he cleanly made the catch.
Huge break. That was third and 10. Huge break when you're down by 10. You're running out of possession to begin with inside a quarter that is left in the third quarter. The fullback, Aaron Manigault, breaking tackles in the secondary. The flag down at the original line.
Illegal procedure penalty on South Carolina State. They were confused as to which receiver should be on the line of scrimmage. They didn't have enough men up on the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was the best run by the fullback today. It takes away a 9-yard gain. Seven assessments against Grambling, 34 for South Carolina State.
Interesting too, Grambling coming into this ballgame had already been penalized 127 times. That's an awful high number for an Eddie Robinson coach team. South Carolina State only 92 penalties on the season coming into this ballgame.
Now first and 15. Marvin Marshall calling his own number, getting a nice seal from Michael Hicks to bounce into the boundary. He was good yardage all the way down to 35. Short first down by only one. Pick up a 14.
Michael Hicks really is a tenacious blocker. I mean, he has great form, just keeping his body in position and then just sustaining the block. Watch number 4. Okay, now he tries to find him. As soon as he knows where he's at, he just keeps moving his feet, keeping his hands to the inside, blocking on a bigger man. That's Mark Mosby, a linebacker, 225-pounder, but good technique, good form that time by Michael Hicks and sustaining a block for a long period of time.
Second of the yard. Don't forget this drive kept alive by that skip. Bury the running back. A little delay action. Did a good job to hang on to the ball. It was Albert Reese. Really leveled Michael Hicks. And Michael Hicks getting up very slowly. So Brendan Kenny find him for the next play.
There's Reese, number 91. Watch the penetration. I mean, he's just a big body in there. 275, 280 pounds. They're just not getting much movement. And then he takes up space on the inside. And then the middle linebacker, Kiefer Phillips, who's freed up because he's absorbing 2 blocks, he's able to fly in there and make a tackle. So good work on the inside by both Fontenot and Reese for the Grambling defense.
Now, critical third and 3. Marvin Marshall trying to get over Fontenot and gets the first down. Fontenot got that right ball out there, but couldn't get a piece of him. He gets it down to the 30-yard line, and they ran away from Albert Reese's side.
Look at the coaches trying to tell Fontenot, hey, just keep in there. Just hang in there. Sooner or later, you're going to grab a hold of that jersey. Don't give up on it. For a defensive lineman trying to chase a little guy like this, I mean, it just gets frustrating for those guys. And they got to go back and huddle and line up and run another play. But credit Fontenot for continuing to try to make the pursuit play on the sideline.
Another key third down conversion, that time 3rd and 3. It's at the Grambling 30. Tigers lead it by 10. Marvin Marshall trying to get the perimeter. I don't want to grab my early Harris hanging on the 24 to take the giant jump. And he gets 6 yards on the reception.
Take a look at J.B. Brown now. He's been responsible for the quarterback most of this ballgame. You can see him just drawing a beeline right for the quarterback. He runs halfway across the field. He doesn't get there in time to make the throw, but had Marshall decided to try to run that, he would have had to contend with J.B. Brown right there in the open field.
Second and short now, 2nd and 4. Marshall surveying the situation. Like he wanted to change the play, won't go. Short side toss. Nothing there for Michael Hicks. Brad Walters in. Stumping the play and turning it in. Yep. Keeper Phillips also there.
You know, Willie Jeffries told Dr. Jerry Punch at halftime that they were going to try to open up their offense a little bit more. Now, what they've done is not necessarily come out throwing anymore, but they've taken their tight end out of their formation. They've gone to much more 3 wide receiver and trying to stretch the Grambling defense. They don't want to get them all packed in because they realize physically they can't just move them out of there. So they're trying to stretch them and open some new lanes. And you can see a much better drive. 13 plays, 58 yards. They've been holding the football, and that's good for this offense.
Now they need to produce points. Marvin Marshall getting the block for the Hicks, trying to go in for J.B. Brown. It'll make it early errands. Good heat again from J.B. Brown.
J.B. Brown is like the perfect linebacker for this defense playing against this team and this quarterback in Marvin Marshall, because he's really the size and the speed of a defensive back, but he's playing a position where he has to be physical, and they got him right there, number 26. He's just kind of shadowing. Watch him play off the block of Hicks. We've already seen in the game what a good blocker Hicks can be. Nice job by J.B. Brown just maintaining his feet, getting off the block, and getting right to the face of the quarterback Marshall.
Play of the game so far for South Carolina State, trailing by 10 on 4th and 6. 3 wide receiver set once again for Marvin Marshall. He's got his man. He gets a first for the first down, 15. But Dave, the senior from Atlanta, a lot of family and friends. They may have taken away Freddie Solomon, but Early Harris is coming through.
When they used Freddie Solomon as a decoy, he was down to the bottom of the screen one-on-one. Everybody thought he was going there. Never even looked at Solomon. Went right away to the slot receiver, Early Harris, and a big first down conversion for South Carolina State. Good play call that time by Anthony Jones, the offensive coordinator. Use your best receivers as decoy. Throw to the guy they're not expecting the ball to come to.
Delay, Michael Hicks breaking it back against the play. The only person going to 3. The offense has come alive for Willie Jeffries and a nice mix of pass and run on this drive.
You're exactly right, and because you've been able to mix the pass and the run, that keeps that defense a little honest. It helps your offensive linemen. Watch the flow all start to the left. You invite the defense to the left, and then Hicks is going to bend it back. And a nice block in the middle there by the right guard, Tyrone Davis, number 60, on the middle linebacker. That's the guy responsible to make the play in there. Nice job by the right guard, slipping out on the cutback run.
That's the final play of the 3rd quarter. And wait a minute. They stop the clock now with 18 seconds left in the quarter. And a timeout has been called by Grambling in a 1st and goal situation, so they didn't let the clock run. But he stopped it. It was the defensive unit that did it. As Grambling has used their first time out of the 2nd half, and now after North Carolina got the first points of the day at the Sun Bowl, 2 straight scores for Longhorns of Texas to take a 7-point lead.
What we just heard there on the South Carolina State sideline is Willie Jeffries telling his quarterback that we're in 4-down territory, so he's already informed him that they're going to go for the touchdown here. It's 1st down on the 3-yard line. So chances are they may call a passer on the 1st down, and he's telling him, hey, if it's not there, throw it away. Don't worry about it. We're going to go for it in this situation.
Any multi-touch for a quarterback, you can appreciate what a head coach lets you know at the outset of the series. You got a 1st and goal. So let's listen in. The confidence that you don't have to force things. Just patience.
Marvin Marshall has proved all year that he makes good decisions with the football, and as the season goes along, and you do that on a consistent basis, a quarterback or a coach starts to have much more confidence with you, starts to give you a lot more leeway with what he does with the football, and Marvin Marshall has certainly earned the respect and the confidence of his head coach. South Carolina State.
First player in South Carolina State history. Rushing pass for 1,000 yards each in a single season. He's going to run the option on 1st and goal. This goal calls his own number. He's again in. Touchdown. South Carolina State. Marshall. 2-yarder in their final possession of the first half. Now a 3-yarder and a very important conversion try. They have botched a number of them both sides.
And this certainly isn't automatic. We've seen.
And Young throws it, and it is a 3-point ball game.
Take a look at the touchdown again. We mentioned that Willie Jeffrey says in the trap option offense, the key for the quarterback is to have quickness and a quick first step. That's even more important than speed. Watch the quickness as he goes down the line and just outruns the Grambling defense to the corner. He gets a nice block by his fullback, Marcel Bush, number 30, and that's all he needs, one block. And he's into the end zone.
Good call, Coach. You hold on to the ball almost 84 yards. You need 6 because you've held on to it for better than 8 minutes on the clock as well.
You know, and people might say, well, they got the lucky call on the ball that skipped off the turf. But you know what? They made a bunch of plays in that drive without the aid of the officials. So a good drive, a great scoring drive for Willie Jeffrey's team.
84 yards, 17 plays, and a long one for these two teams. 8:43. Time-consuming drive. The fans, we might add, have been nothing short of sensational today. The band, Grambling, of course, from South Carolina State. Larry Dykes making it down from the 3 for Grambling. Dykes in trouble. And Dykes going the long way back to the 2. The ball is certainly now, and I call it momentum, with South Carolina State having to make play the special teams.
What South Carolina State lacks on their defensive and football team and their special teams, what they lack in size, they more than make up for in speed. And watch as Dykes tries to change directions. Not against this team, you're not going to do it. They've got too many fast athletes in red jerseys, and they track them down.
That's the key to the team. South Carolina State has got the speed and quickness. It's Grambling who's got the size. So it's 1st and 10 on the 2 with only 3 seconds left in the third quarter. And now so important. The pressure now for South Carolina State defense. Down their offense. Cars field position sensor. And they hold it. 3 and out. Bradford with a 5 on the final play of the third quarter. Norman Bradford for 3. We got a ball game at the Georgia Dome. It's Heritage Bowl number 4. Kendrick North, Grambling State Tigers up by 3 on the Bulldogs for South Carolina State. We'll be right back to Atlanta.
One tradition. Grambling's Eddie Robinson is closing in on the crowning achievement of his glorious coaching career. 400 wins. Now you can celebrate the man of the mission with the official Eddie Robinson 400-win cap. Available from Drew Pearson Marketing for just $14.99 plus $5 shipping and handling. Get the official Eddie Robinson 400-win cap by calling 1-800-488-3883. That's 1-800-488-3883.
Kendrick North and the Tigers of Grambling State University may have a 3-point lead, but they are in a huge hole now. Special teams blunder. We'll get into that in just a minute. Puts them all the way back to 5. They're looking at a 2nd and 7 on the first play of the fourth quarter. And North on his own end zone. Barely tipped away from the wide receiver, Curtis Caesar. And it's Russell Thomas, the quarterback with the 5 play. Let's head downstairs to Jerry Punt to this special guest, Doug Williams. Jerry.
Thanks, Joel. There are a lot of Grambling greats, and Doug Williams is one of them, the 1988 Super Bowl MVP. And Doug, what is so special about Eddie Robinson playing for a coach like Eddie?
Well, I think number one, I think Coach Robinson is more than a football coach. He's a guy that when you come to Grambling, he's more interested in you going to church and getting a degree than he is playing football. He always say playing football is secondary.
Kendrick North, moving in on some of your records. Give us your assessment of this incredible young quarterback.
Well, I've always been a believer that records are measured in W's and L's. I think that's more important than stats and yardage and TDs and anything. And I think, when it's all over, his career is over, we got another year to play there. And, if he can come up with 36 wins and less than 5 losses, and his tenure there, maybe he deserves everything. And I think he does. He's a heck of a football player.
What about Doug Williams? You spent most of the year coaching at Navy. What's ahead for you?
Well, they just named a new coach at Navy today, and I really don't know. I had an opportunity to talk to anyone as of yet. But next week I should know my fate and have a better idea what I'm going to do.
Doug, thanks for joining us. Good luck to you.
Thank you. They got the first down with the completion to Tyrone Jones, and now weaving his way out the backfield is Robert Fobbs. The offensive coordinator, Melvin Lee, said that there was one surprise this year that he didn't expect. It was the development of this young man, the sophomore from Mobile.
Well, they took Norman Bradford, who was the starting tailback last year. They moved him to the all-important fullback position. So really, who was going to play tailback was kind of an unknown coming into the year, and Broderick Fobbs really has come on.
His dad, Lee Fobbs, running back the Tigers back in the 70s. And an assistant for the last couple of years. Assistant coach at LSU. Good game on first down. Second of the yard. Keep in the hands of Fobbs. He's got first down. Across the 25 to 27 with a flag at the end of the play where it looked like they could grab the face mask. Now it's important for Grambling to make a statement offensively. After the long drive by South Carolina State.
South Carolina State is trying to do a lot of different things to try to get Anthony Cook involved. This time they put him over the center. He's going to stunt this way, but the play's going to go outside him. So they're trying to move him around, get him in a position where they think Grambling might go with the football. But again, a wrong guess by Ben Blacknell and Anthony Cook. He's hustling. He's in there working hard, but he just hasn't been able to come up with the big plays so far in this ball game.
At the 32, it's Fobbs again. He's the workaholic on this drive. Only a couple of first down, but still good breathing room now for Grambling. Don't forget they got the ball back the road, too, after Dykes brought it back on the kickoff and took it all the way back inside the 5 and was stopped there.
On Henry Gordon, we talked about his touch on the deep throw, but the best throw, one of the best throws he's made so far was the play he made on third down when they were back by their own end zone here a couple plays ago. A nice little throw out to his wingback, Tyrone Jones, for the first down. You've got to be able to make that throw and give yourself, as you say, some breathing room so you can operate offensively.
At the same time that Doug Williams was talking about 35 and 6.
That's right, he knew that. He knew his little loss record, didn't he?
Fobbs. With flags on the play, and dead ball foul coming up. Nord looked like it was busted immediately.
And two guys moving. One of the problems with this offense, sometimes this offense looks like Canadian football because you got the wing back, you got people moving in motion, but you can't have two guys moving at the same time. That's what happened in that play.
So mark off against Grambling. They take it back to the 26. It should be actually, though, I believe, right around the 28 or 29. It was a 5-yard mark off.
Here you see Tyrone Jones, the wingback, coming in motion. At the same time, the tailback is moving in motion, too. So got all kind of movement up there. And
you've got the right tackle lifting up a little early, too. So now, the pilot spotted correctly after the mark off. There we go.
For Curtis Caesar here. Now, if you're watching this, if you're South Carolina State defense, I'd be very aware of Curtis Caesar. He's been kind of quiet here in the second half so far, but he is their go-to guy in the clutch passing situation.
Nord with good protection. Look for Caesar. There he is at the 29. Retained the 5. Touchdown, Grambling. Good call, partner. 72 yards on the score. Does Kendrick Nord have a gun or what?
He's got a rifle. He's got that big leg arm, and he was going there all the way. Here's Caesar working one-on-one against Russell Thomas. He beat a defender earlier on the flag. This time he takes it to the post. You can see number 11, Macy Stevens, was out of position. The free safety couldn't get any help in the middle. And it's a big play, Nord to Caesar. And that's a big man running down there. He's 6'3" and has the great speed as well.
And he will not give up that ball. That is just set a new single-season touchdown reception record for Curtis Caesar. That is his 14th TD catch of the year. 98-yard drive. Elon Landau looking for the 2-point conversion as it's batted away from the tight end. Ronaldo Graham with a flag down on the play. Hold everything. Up was defending. Eddie bringing out all the tricks here. So the place kicker Landau trying to come up with a 2-point conversion.
Pope was actually in pretty good position to make that play, but came over the back of the tight end. Landau put the ball where he had to. It's pretty decent actually making that throw out to the outside, and you can see the right hand of Pope was on the back of the tight end.
And now, with the ball so close to the goal line, they'll bring in the regular offensive unit, Kendrick Norton company.
South Carolina State calls timeout. Now it's a much different situation now as they move the ball inside.
Now South Carolina State used a timeout. They hustle Pope back on the field. It is going to be a timeout, but it's going to be called by the offense, by Grambling. We'll come right back to see what they do if they continue to go for the 2-point conversion. Grambling on top by 9. They're celebrating as the Grambling Tigers now have a 25-16 lead over the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Joel Myers, Scott Blackledge at the Georgia Dome. And now a 2-point conversion try coming up for Grambling. They will go up by more than a touchdown in the field goal. They want to try to go up by 11. Bradford on the pitch. No problems. They get it.
You know, they pulled Elliott Womack on that play, and Bradford didn't even wait for his pulling guard. He saw an opening. He ran right by number 74 into the end zone. Nice blocking on the right side of the line. Take a look. Here's Womack right here. Now he's going to pull, but he's not going to get out of the way in time for Bradford. Bradford's going to run right by him. Watch 74. He's in position. Bradford says, no, tired of waiting, big fella. There's too big of a hole right there. I'll take it myself.
You can follow me every step of the way if you like, them. And he did exactly that on the tail of Bradford. So Grambling, what a statement they do make after South Carolina State marches all the way down the field, an 84-yard drive of their own. They've got to do a 3-point deficit. Grambling sticks a 98-yard run. Not too shabby.
Now 4 runs, 3 passes, and the big play, the 72-yard throw and catch. Kendrick Norton to Curtis Caesar. The big play potential that both of these teams have. Curtis Caesar just proved why he is really taking the next step. As you mentioned earlier in the game, he came to Grambling as a walk-on. He's going to leave as an all-conference player and possibly a draft pick in the upcoming draft.
3 catches, 117 yards for Caesar today. And 2 of those 3 going for scores to set a new Grambling single-season record for touchdown receptions. And now Landau ready to kick it away. Big-time catch-up. Bulldogs of South Carolina State for plenty of time. There's still 12:29 left in the game. And they've got Marvin Marshall, a very explosive one as well. Single 1 deep. Incredible time from the 5. Solid, slowed down, knocking down across the 25-27. Another look on the perfect strike from Kendrick Norton.
Now let's take a look at this touchdown. Now here's the safety, Macy Stevens. He's responsible for deep middle. And as Caesar runs the post pattern, the quarterback is going to expect some help from his free safety, but Stevens is not going to get over there. He's watching the quarterback. Now when he breaks, he takes too shallow of an angle, and the receiver is already behind the deepest defender, the free safety. When a quarterback is playing man-to-man, he takes away the outside, he forces it to the inside and expects help from his free safety. That time Stevens running there to help his buddy.
Marvin Marshall on first down. Back against the green he goes. He's across the 40. Look out to the 50. What a run on first down by Marvin Marshall. And somebody grabbed his face mask on the way by as well.
Never slowed him down a minute either. He is electric. I mean, that's the only word that I can think of to describe him. He is absolutely electric when he runs the football. Take a look at it again. He gets a good block by Hicks. He turns up to the inside. And then you see his linemen always working on the play. Receivers and linemen blocking downfield. That's a big fella. That's his right guard running down the middle of the field. Tyrone Davis. They just keep blocking downfield, and he just keeps making people miss.
38 yards on the run. Brandon Walsh was down by that base pass. Didn't slow him down, though. They run early Harris in motion on first down. Looking for Harris, but he's throwing his feet behind him. Another score for Texas in the Sun Bowl. Longhorns have the Eagles down by 11. Still plenty of time. 12:04 left for Marvin Marshall. Marvin Marshall. About 2/3 of the Grambling output.
You look at it again, you say, how did this guy last an entire season, let alone an entire game? He is durable.
He's got his flanker. It's the freshman McGowan, and it's a 1st and goal at the 8.
That was a perfect touch throw by Marvin Marshall. You don't see him drop straight back in the pocket and throw very often, but he sets his feet, and it's a perfect touch throw right through the seam of the defense. They're working on the linebacker, J.B. Brown, and just a perfect throw by Marvin Marshall.
This is what we expected earlier in the game. To go out with these two teams to warm up offensively. The first and goal now for Bulldogs from South Carolina State. Been on the left of the line for Marshall. And he leaves him. Gets him back very quickly, but waits him down. Now you got the thoughts of Willie Jeffries very succinctly.
They got a little bit rushed there. The play clock was running down, as you can see in your screen, and Marvin Marshall was trying to hurry up and make the audible and never got a clean exchange with his center. I mean, you got to try to get your team in and out of the huddle a little bit quicker so you give yourself more time at the line of scrimmage if you want to make audibles. You don't want to be slow coming out of the huddle, and it really eliminates your ability to use your audible.
The option for Michael Hicks. He's out of the Hicks all the way down inside the 2. Well, we've seen so many good blocks by the wide receiver, Freddie Solomon. And now it'll be 3rd and goal from there.
Nice job that time by Marvin Marshall, also making the quick pitch. He's forced the pitch right away. It's right out in front of the running back. You don't want that pitch coming behind him. You want him to be able to catch it on the move, keep his eyes upfield, find his blockers.
Well, when they've been this close, Marvin Marshall has called his own number to the wide side of the field. 3rd and goal at the 1. Shorts up and doing it time. Marshall get there, yes. Touchdown, South Carolina State. And he barely got there.
You know, he made a great move there, reaching the ball over. It looked like his knee may have been down before he extended the ball, but he did it so instinctively that he got the touchdown call. Let's take a look at it as he runs the option down the line to the short side. Is his knee down? Yes, it is. He reaches the ball over, but he did it so quickly and so instinctively, he got the touchdown call from the side judge.
3rd score of the day for Marvin Marshall. There's a 5-point deficit now for the Bulldogs. Not much of a decision here. It's automatic. You've got to go for 2. Try to cut it to 3.
Who do you think's going to carry the football?
I don't think he wants to give it up. Marvin Marshall with Michael Hicks leading the way into the corner. The 2-point conversion is there.
You know, you can say all you want. Just don't let him get outside. Don't let him break contain. It is so much easier said than done with a guy who has the kind of quickness and speed that Marvin Marshall has.
It is back to a 3-point ball game. We'll be right back to the Georgia Dome with 10-12 left in the game.
Alka-Seltzer or Bromo-Seltzer. They sound the same, but there are 2 differences. Bromo-Seltzer has 29% more acid-neutralizing capacity than Alka-Seltzer. That's 29% more power to neutralize stomach acid. And Bromo-Seltzer contains the non-aspirin pain reliever used most by hospitals, while Alka-Seltzer contains aspirin. So if you want 29% more acid-neutralizing capacity and the pain reliever used most by hospitals, there's only one choice: Bromo-Seltzer.
One man, one team, one tradition. Grambling's Eddie Robinson is closing in on the crowning achievement of his glorious coaching career, 400 wins. Now you can celebrate the man of the mission with the official Eddie Robinson 400-win cap, available from Drew Pearson Marketing for just $14.99, plus $5 shipping and handling. Get the official Eddie Robinson 400-win cap by calling 1-800-488-3883. That's 1-800-488-3883.
While America was highlighting games at major universities, black college football was exploiting its own success. They often worked their magic before smaller crowds and wanted very little in return except for the opportunity to play and coach in their respective arenas. Join host Robin Roberts of ESPN as she takes a look at the pioneers who should forever be a part of our memories. Celebrate Black History Month this February and watch Foundations of Legacy. Black college sports in America. Check your local listings for stations and times.
Another outstanding two-way day for quarterback Marvin Marshall of South Carolina State. A little off the passing department, but he's made up for it on the ground.
He made a couple of big throws in that drive. A beautiful throw on the seam pass to get him down there inside the 5-yard line. So he's done a little bit of everything here in the ballgame.
Davey Brown, the linebacker, doing such a phenomenal job all day long for Grambling. Everything's come alive in the second half. Both teams offensive. Back in, kicks it away. Here's rookie Larry Dykes once again at the 10. We know it's going around this time north south. He will take it that direction across the 22 to the 23. Another look at where the knee went down for Marvin Marshall.
Yeah, take a look as he comes down the line on the option. Go ahead and roll the play. Now, right here, you can see his knee is down. Now, there's an official right here who's looking right at it. Doesn't make the call. You can see instinctively Marshall does the right thing. I mean, he tries to make it look like all one motion. He gets the ball across the plane and gets the call for the touchdown. Heads up play by the quarterback, Marshall.
10:06 left. 3-point ball game, 27-24 Grambling. And before it's all over, it looks like both teams are going to get close to their average. Grambling's averaging 41 a game. Looked like he was ready to run down the line after the play fake. Everybody going the other way. 21-yard line, he's knocked out of bounds. What was a naked bootleg?
Yeah, they run a naked bootleg. I mean, that's part of the package on the wing T offense. With so much misdirection, you try to get everybody flowing one way and send your quarterback out by himself. But nice job on the pursuit and staying at home by the backside of the South Carolina State defense.
Loss of 2 yards. Second and a dozen now for offensive coordinator Melvin Lee. 37 years he has been there with Eddie Robinson.
What he wants to do right now, as much as anything, is hold on to the football for a while. He doesn't want to get it back into the hands of a hot quarterback, Marvin Marshall.
And ball ball coming up. That is not what they needed, a 2nd and 17 situation. Now, the offense bogged down over the last couple of games of the regular season, but they did get it together here in the third and fourth quarters.
Anthony Cook, they've been trying to move him around a lot like Green Bay does with Reggie White. You know, they take him sometimes over the nose, sometimes at the end position.
They have Tyrone Jones. They have the blitz again going after Nord. In there, it was Wesley Gilliard, junior from Charleston, South Carolina. Now a critical third down because, as you mentioned, they wanted to take some time off the clock and also gain some field position.
As we've seen, special teams have not been real strong by either team in this ball game. You really don't want to have to try to punt the ball out from inside your 20-yard line. If you don't have to, you need to get some yardage here just to give your punter some room.
Nord looking for Caesar. Does he get it? Is he out of bounds? Yes, he is out of bounds. It's incomplete. What an attempt, though, by Curtis Caesar.
You know, there's really no longer throw in the game of football. From a college hash mark to right hash mark, throwing a corner pattern to the left sideline. That ball is thrown perfectly by Kendrick Nord, right off the fingertips of Caesar. That was almost a huge completion on third down.
You can see the way Caesar did the dotted I on the sideline. He was really concentrating on making sure his feet were in bounds.
And that may be why he dropped the football. Sometimes you get over there and you're so worried about where your feet are and where the sideline is, you forget to do the most important thing. That's catch the football.
Brandon Simpson has it right again. Picked up. Where will they mark it? Inside the one. Coming up with the ball for the Bulldogs. Derricott. Jermaine Derricott. The block going looked like. Another look.
Well, we mentioned how unspecial the special teams have been in this ball game so far. And there's another case of it as Kenny Bynum, for the second time in the ball game, gets in and gets a piece of that punt. This time it goes back towards the end zone. A huge play and a big turnaround for South Carolina State.
As it stands right now, special teams the difference in this game.
We've had a little bit of everything. 2 block punts. We've had a muff field goal, a block PAT that was returned for a 2-point conversion, a fake punt that didn't work. We have had all kind of exciting plays. Plays that drive coaches crazy in the special teams for sure today.
Holmes upset because he really didn't have ample time to get it off. Bynum was in there. Bynum and Taylor, you might remember the combination that got to it the previous time. And here we go, trip to the backfield. South Carolina State trying to take the lead for the second time today. These Hicks is going nowhere.
Hendricks Johnson, number 93, a backup defensive tackle in their goal line defense. Got some great penetration, and I'll tell you what, the 2 interior tackles, the people that have been lining up in that position today for Grambling, have gotten great penetration all day. There has been very little running room between the tackles for South Carolina State today. This is a team coming into the ballgame average 277 yards a game rushing, and Michael Hicks doing most of that damage running between the tackles. Haven't been able to open and move those big bodies in there very much today.
You have to think, though, they like where the ball is now.
6 seconds back on the original game clock.
8:34 left in the contest. The ball is on the far side hash, so it would be a natural roll for Marvin Marshall, the right-handed quarterback.
Take a look at the punt now. Here's where the pressure's going to come. He's going to stunt inside and get a piece of the ball. There it is. Slips right to the inside and gets a clean block on the punt.
Untouched. Over to the backfield. No flags. Marvin Marshall wide on the field in trouble. Throwing it away.
Good decision.
I thought I saw a little bit up early in the backfield.
Yeah, the one wing back there looked like he started early. Could have been an illegal motion penalty call, but Marvin Marshall did the right thing there, just throwing it away. Sometimes you can make the spectacular play. Sometimes the best thing to do is to get rid of the football and line up without losing any yardage.
But now 3rd and goal. With the ball close to the 2.
Excellent job again by Marvin Marshall selling the run. Everybody's attracted to Hicks. Roderick Mullen is on the end of the line. Nobody in coverage on the tight end. You can see that this free safety, Shelley Barnett, coming over late, but it was much too late as the tight end made the touchdown catch.
Big extra point try and good for Matt Young to give South Carolina State a 4-point advantage now. 8:13 left. Marvin Marshall coming through with a clutch pass to his tight end. It's been good, but not as good as this game in the second half. It has really gotten red hot. South Carolina State with their second lead of the afternoon with 8:13 left. Now what a day for Marvin Marshall, the quarterback for the Bulldogs. 3 touchdowns rushing, just threw for that one. He's also scored on a 2-point conversion, so he's been involved in 26 of the Bulldogs' 31 points. Now the pressure on the other quarterback, Kendrick Nord. The Tigers at Grambling. We've already seen what a gun he's got. That 72-yard pass.
And he's been in a couple shootouts this year. I mean, he outdueled Steve McNair in the opener and threw 7 touchdown passes to McNair's 5. So he knows what it's all about, bringing his team back in a close ball game. Let's take a look at the touchdown play again now. First of all, watch right here. That's the free safety, Shelley Barnett. He's responsible in coverage for the tight end. He's going to get locked into the play fake, and the tight end is going to slip out all alone. Watch the good fake by Marvin Marshall. The safety is watching the fake. Whoops. There's the tight end. That's my man. And the guy who set it up, can he find him? The guy who pulled it off.
Just a little excited. I love it. First and 10, Grambling at their own 20. Trailing now with 8:13 left. The way back, Tyrone Jones tweaking his way. Always lost in the air. The player got it back at the 22. We talked about the special teams before, and it started very early on the very first score of the game. Grambling's extra point try by Landau was blocked and returned for 2 points for South Carolina State.
Yeah, there's been all kind of problems, some miscues, and also even bad decisions on when to return a ball, when to make a fair catch, where to, to try to gain extra yards on returns. There have been some big momentum-turning plays in the kicking game today.
So 2 straight running plays for Grambling on a possession where they're down by 4.
Anthony Cook, I'll tell you what, I like his effort. I like his work ethic. He's getting double teamed. They're running away from him, but he's staying after it, and he's staying after it, and he's making plays. He's not going to have the big numbers coming out of the game. Last year in the Heritage Bowl, he had 10 tackles and 3 sacks. He's not going to have any kind of numbers like this in this game, but he's showing me something, his ability to fight off the double teams and to continue to work hard in this ball game.
Huge third down for Kendrick Nord. Overshoots Bradford. It was a 3rd and 6 situation, so 3 and out at an inopportune time for the Tigers.
Anytime a right-handed quarterback is rolling to his left, he has to be very fundamentally sound to get his shoulders turned around, get it square to the target, and follow through on the throw. That time Nord was a little bit hesitant on getting his shoulders turned around. The ball sailed on him on a key 3rd down pass.
Bynum setting up wide. They block him this time. As Brandon Simpson sends away a beauty. He'll be Freddie Solomon dropping it at the 20. And Freddie Solomon, the hardware that goes along with the win. The trophy for the 94 Heritage Bowl champion. And don't forget the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Grambling, a member of that conference, has taken the first 3. Mid-Eastern has not been able to come up with a win in this annual classic. Marvin Marshall in trouble and on his way down at the 6-1 play by Walters. That's exactly what Grambling needed for field position purposes. They need to hold and also knock it backwards.
Yeah, and Marvin Marshall has done such a great job of eluding people that time. Just great breakdown technique by Brandon Walters as he rushed upfield. Just would not allow him to get to the outside.
I figure Marvin Marshall has got to be feeling the effects of what has transpired in the second half. He's driven his team to 3 consecutive touchdowns. He's got to be a little weary.
Yeah, certainly he's tired, but he weighs 175 pounds. He's not going to be as tired as the 280-pound guys that have been chasing him all day.
Lost him 12 minutes, 2nd and 22. The lane for Michael Hicks. Looking home up the middle. Hicks making a miss. No, there's people a flag down on the play. There's a flag back at the 12-yard line, though. And Grambling applauding like they got a holding call coming their way.
This is a huge, huge call that's going to go against South Carolina State. That was a big play by Michael Hicks.
That took them only a yard or 2 away from a first down.
They spread them out. They ran the sprint draw on 2nd down and long, and they popped a nice seam in there. But somewhere on the left side of the line, may have been Raleigh Roundtree, the left tackle, got called for a holding penalty. Take a look over here, Raleigh Roundtree, as the rush comes upfield. They're going to run the sprint draw right in behind it. There it is. It's not much. I'll tell you what, those are all good blocks right here. I mean, all along there, you've got bodies on bodies. That's a tough call. It went against possibly Tyrone Davis, number 60, but...
So now, seconds and 21. All the way back to 3. Marvin Marshall wants to throw. Going grab the freshman. And not out of bounds. That will give the reception by the McGowan. So now it'll be 3rd and 21 with 5:39 left.
And look, as he throws it, McGowan trying to find the sideline. That's a good catch. He got the 1 foot down. That's great concentration to make the catch. And he gets the left foot down. Clearly, you can see the toe flat against the turf.
Well, they got one earlier. We talked about it in the skate pass.
And those things even out. I mean, over the course of a game, they even out. Now, the most important thing for Holmes, he's got to know where the back of that end zone is. He cannot take one step backward.
They're punting on 3rd down, and it's off the side of the foot of Holmes. Bradford will stay away from it. What a roll for South Carolina State. What a break. All the way to the Grambling 47. What is left for Eddie Robinson and the Grambling Tigers? He has a handbag that he keeps with him. His briefcase. I asked him when he got it. He said, well, I've had it just a little while. I said, do you ever get offered other things? He goes, every couple of months they want me to take one and try to do one. But this baby's been with me a long time. I said, hey, he's superstitious. He goes, no, not much, am I?
Just gets another roll of adhesive tape and tapes up those handles. I wonder whose job it is to guard that. Well, he's going to have to pull one more magic trick out of that bag and get another score for Kendrick North.
There's now for the 47. It is Bob Patel back, the sophomore from Mobile. And he's got it down at the 47. A gain of 6 on first down. It has been a phenomenal second half. Very sluggish beginning, as you can see in the first quarter. Things picked up in the second quarter offensively, and they've really taken off in the second half. A 4-point lead for South Carolina State. Joel Myers along with Todd Blackledge. Heritage Bowl number 4. And they're anticipating that Heritage Bowl number 5 is going to be once again right here at the Georgia Dome. Of the second quarter, is 5. Couldn't count for North that time. It's going to be wide open, and Jones for the first down. Jones loses. And it looks like South Carolina State took it away. Jermaine Darricott was after the loose ball. Bulldogs ball. Coming up with it, Damian Palmer.
You know, Joel, this is simply a case of a guy trying to get a few extra yards. It's a good route by Tyrone Jones. It's a beautiful throw by Kendrick North. And he's tackled right here, but he's trying to stretch out and make a few extra yards. And credit Russell Thomas, number 3, for not giving up on the play. He just kept reaching and scrapping, and he pulled the ball out for a big turnover for the Bulldogs. He couldn't make the tackle, but he was able to rip the ball out, and Tyrone Jones might have been better off just going down at the point of that play.
Only one timeout left now for Grambling. Don't forget about that. That is a huge number down the stretch, as they get a couple on first down to the 40 on the carry by Manigault, the fullback.
Tyrone Jones has his head down now, but he is a guy that Eddie Robinson just feels they didn't get the ball to enough this year. I mean, he has got big play potential as a runner at the wingback position or a receiver, and they certainly went to the right guy in getting a guy that could make a play, but wasn't able to protect the football on that reception.
Now, South Carolina State short the clock inside of 4 minutes and counting the second lead. And jumping offside, Kai Burrell with contact. So the mistake's propping up now. Down the stretch for Grambling.
Kai Burrell was down at the bottom of the screen. Here he is down here. He's just going to go off the sound of Marvin Marshall's voice. There was really no movement. He gets pulled off the line of scrimmage by the cadence of Marvin Marshall. And you can see again, Jarrell Moore, the center. As soon as he felt someone come across, snaps the ball.
Tyrone Jones had that first down at the 31. He was struggling, trying to get away and pick up extra yardage. And he caulked it out.
That was a huge first down for South Carolina State. As you mentioned, just the one timeout for Grambling. They really needed to get a big stop there, a 3 and out for their offense.
Stop with a gain of 2, but more importantly, keeps the clock moving. Next time they snap it, about 2:45, 2:40 left in the contest. They can take it with another first down. They can take it all the way inside of a minute.
We talked about how important it would be for the big three of South Carolina State to come through. Michael Hicks, you can see, over or exactly 100 yards on the day. Not the same kind of average per carry that he's used to, but they've been 100 hard-fought yards. Marvin Marshall has had the big day. Freddie Solomon hasn't had the big day as a receiver. He's done other things.
Marvin Marshall calling his own number for a big first down inside the 35. Another key on the pitch. Marshall took it himself.
He really is amazing to me. I mean, he does have that quick first step. When he sees a seam, he just sees the seam and hits that one step. Watch him come down the line. And as soon as he gets that block by his right guard, Tyrone Davis, he cuts upfield, and the quick burst, that quick acceleration. He's 10 yards downfield before anybody catches up to him.
Time running out of the Tigers. Grambling. The fullback away. At least Livingston did. He's got the first down of the 19.
You'd have to think there's a place for Marvin Marshall. He mentioned to us that he'd like to continue playing football. He's 5'10". His brother's a wide receiver, Arthur Marshall, with the New York Giants. He wants to be a receiver, return man.
I think he can do it because of his speed. Good blocking on the inside, and really there has not been much yardage to be gained on the inside between the tackles today for South Carolina State. But here late in the ball game, that offensive line, the two guards, Shield and Davis, and the center Moore, opened up some lanes.
Manigault again. Stop. Very little or no gain on that carry. Marvin Marshall coming through in a big way in the second half.
Wearing down to a certain extent the Grambling defensive front.
They were on the field a long time in the second half, and it started with that 8.5-minute drive.
Not only were they on the field for a long time, but each play takes a long time when Marvin Marshall has the football because he runs all over the place. I mean, he'll run for a 12-yard gain, but he's actually run for about 30, 40 yards. So, I mean, each play can be very excruciating if you're a defensive player chasing Marvin Marshall.
Grambling has just used their final timeout. We head downstairs to Dr. Jerry Brunch. Jerry?
Guys, a lot of unusual nicknames on these football teams, but they really kept looking at players trying to find a nickname for Marvin Marshall. They couldn't find one, and finally someone took a look at him one day coming out of the shower in the locker room, and they nicknamed him Bean, which is short for Bean Pole because he's just so doggone skinny. So that has stuck now for the past 3 years. Marvin Marshall is known by his teammates simply as Bean.
Yeah, that's the last time out. We can do.
Tough one to catch up with.
He is a special player. I mean, you always have Kendrick Nord is a fine quarterback, and he's going to have a great senior year and possibly a good chance to be a good NFL quarterback. Marvin Marshall, this is probably going to be his last game playing as a quarterback. But you got to admire a guy who is small like that, who doesn't have the same physical size and stature that other quarterbacks have, but can come out here and play a 12-game schedule, run an option, take a pounding, and just keep coming back for more. I mean, he is a special, special player.
Now second long. He's Manigault again, the fullback. 80-yard post. Thanks to our statistician, as always, Marty Ernoff, for helping us out at the Georgia Dome. And our spotter, too, Wallace Dooley. Great job. So it looks like the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference is finally going to come up with their first win over the Southwestern Athletic Conference in the Heritage Bowl.
What's interesting about this Bulldog team, when we talked to Willie Jeffries this week, he said, last year we had better players. We had better athletes. This year we simply have a better football team. Better chemistry. They lost 9 of 11 starters on defense. But this is a team that believes in itself, that believes in their leader and their quarterback, Marvin Marshall.
One snap, and that'll do it. South Carolina State can begin to celebrate. And let's not forget, they've only won 3 times in 13 previous matchups against Eddie Robinson. What a win for Willie Jeffries. Another disappointment for Eddie. But next year, Eddie will be going for number 400. Too bad for Tyrone Jones to have to think about that during the offseason. First down, and he goes down, but instead of fumbling. And South Carolina State with the win over the legend, Eddie Robinson. That final score, South Carolina State defeats Grambling in Heritage Bowl number 4, 31-27.
It's almost time for the soulful sounds of the 70s here on HBO as we count down to tonight's big concert event, the Sinbad Summer Jam.